not what the Leverites say and what they say we are. We need to fight the Leverites and set Jamaica free. We are blood and fire, comrade.
Good evening, we're listening and watching from around the world on the Eastern Caribbean. This is the Make We Talk program. Good evening to you all. We're coming to you live this evening as we come to you live from St. James, the town hall meeting of the People's National Party, the People's Town Hall meeting. We're coming to you live from there. We're going to stand by to join that live feed. But in the meantime, we're going to speak to you. Someone just texted me a while ago and said I must repeat the song. So let me go back and do this song. And we're going to do some commercial breaks, commercials too. Let's do this song before we go into the nitty-gritty of things as we stand by to join St. James. So the People's Town Hall meeting put on by the People's National Party. This is the Make We Talk program. I want to say good evening to everyone. Wherever you're listening and watching, remember to like, share, and subscribe.
And we are marching on to progress. Oh, we are marching on to progress. Oh, we fear not what whenever I say and what they say we are. We need to fight the Leverites and set Jamaica free. We are blood and fire, comrade, and we are marching on to progress. And we are marching on to progress. We are marching on to progress. Oh, we fear not what the Leverites say and what they say we are. We need to fight the Leverites and set Jamaica free. We are blood and fire, comrade. And we are marching on to progress. Oh, we are marching on to progress. Oh, we fear not what whenever I say and what they say we are. We need to fight the Leverites and set Jamaica free. We are blood and fire, comrade, and we are marching on to progress. And we are marching on to progress. We are marching on to progress. Oh, we fear not what the Leverites say and what they say we are. We need to fight the Leverites and set Jamaica free. We are blood and fire, comrade. And we are marching on to progress. Oh, we are marching on to progress. Oh, we fear not what whenever I say and what they say we are. We need to fight the Leverites and set Jamaica free. We are blood and fire, comrade, and we are marching on to progress. And we are marching on to progress. We are marching on to progress. Oh, we fear not what the Leverites say and what they say we are. We need to fight the Leverites and set Jamaica free. We are blood and fire, comrade. And we are marching on to progress. Oh, we are marching on to progress. Oh, we fear not what whenever I say and what they say we are. We need to fight the Leverites and set Jamaica free. We are blood and fire, comrade, and we are marching on to progress. And we are marching on to progress. We are marching on to progress. what? Whenever I say and what they say we are. When we need to fight the labor rights and say Jamaica free. We are blood and fire comrades, and we are marching on to progress. And we are marching on to progress. We are marching on to progress. Oh, we care not what the labor rights say and what they say we are. We need to fight the labor rights and say Jamaica free. We are blood and fire comrades.
We are blood and fire, comrades. Good afternoon or good evening. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, listening, watching from around the world and the Eastern Caribbean. Good night to you in South Africa, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, wherever you are, London, England. Good afternoon, good night, good evening, wherever you are, listening, watching from around the world and the Eastern Caribbean. This is the MEKWE Talk program. We're going to go live to St. James for the People's National Party Town Hall meeting. As the People's National Party Town Hall meeting, we're standing by to join them. But in the meantime, we are going to speak about something that is happening in Jamaica. There is so much things going on in this country that's unbelievable. I just want to say this tonight that I'm so happy that our people are standing up. Our people are getting their heads together and realize that Jamaica is in need of help. And I'm happy that our people are thinking now to put Jamaica first more than a political party or the color of a political party. They decided to put this country first. And I just want to say this to you tonight, that on Monday, I will keep on saying this, on Monday was a defining moment in the history of this country. On Monday, you can see that democracy is alive and well in this country that we call Jamaica. On Monday, you can see that people came out in the numbers. And I want to address a situation that I see circulating on social media. The media have a right to ask questions. The media have a right to push the mic into anybody's face and ask any question at all. And for those who criticizing a lady and some other people who do not know what the FID is and how the FID function. And I will say this publicly, that there are some people within the halls of this country of ours who are laughing and saying that PNP has protests and the people don't know anything. Listen to me, it's not about the People's National Party or the Jamaica Labour Party, you know. It's about us as Jamaicans. And it's the sole duty of us as Jamaicans to teach our people. And what we have decided to do on this MEKWE Talk program, we're working on it, is to teach our people about the FID, what it stands for, what it does. And although we go around and criticize people and laugh at people, many of them who are criticizing and laughing do not know the function of the FID or what it stands for either. Because all they can see is the color green. All they can see is the color green or the color orange. We're all Jamaicans. We wasn't born a member of any political party in our country. We're born Jamaicans and we're Jamaican citizens. And we must take part in ensuring that our people are well learned. Many of Jamaicans have never seen a copy of the Constitution. Many of them do not know what the Constitution entails. Many of them do not know that the Constitution is their fundamental rights. Many of them do not know that the Constitution will stand up for them. Many of them don't know that the Constitution stated that is your sole duty, your sole right for a peaceful assembly, freedom of speech. Many of them don't know. And it breaks my heart to see some people chatting up their mouth and then themselves do not know the meaning of the Constitution, do not know the meaning of the FID, what it stands for what it don't stand for. And so we have taken upon ourselves on this program here. I'm going to speak to Mr. Rattigan also, to really teach the people the functioning of the FID. All right, that's what we plan to do. Well, tonight I'm going to speak about something before the town hall meeting starts in St. James. We're standing by to join. Let me look on the thing here to see if their feed, it has not started as yet. As soon as the live feed started, we will go live to St. James for the people's town hall meeting. The People's National Party town hall meeting. What do I write here? I put town hall people, Lord of mercy, sorry. So this will be the People's Town Hall meeting. We're going to go live to them. But before we do that, there is something circulating about this drill. You know that the Dr. Pathfinder, who is a neurosurgeon at the University of the West Indies, is no longer there. He can't practice in Jamaica anymore. The Medical Council Board of this country has decided to suspend his license without any meeting with him, based on what I'm being told. But that doesn't stop Dr. Pathfinder from speaking out. He is speaking out. And he's keep on asking the question, where is Jamaica's Governor General? Why are we paying two Governor General? Why are we paying Costas Fuller, who's acting as the GG, and paying the current GG? Until now, we, the people of this country, can't get an answer from the office of the Governor General or from the office of the Prime Minister. Is the Governor General unable to walk? Is the Governor General is the Governor General bedridden? Is the Governor General in a wheelchair? Those are the questions that the Jamaican people need answers for. And if it is alleged that that person up by Huey is not a neurosurgeon, if so, if he's not a neurosurgeon, why is he allowed to be practicing medicine in this country? That's the question that we need to ask ourselves and ask the government of the day. It cannot continue that we the people, we the favorite few, we the Jamaican people must ask questions. It is a sole duty of those who are put in authority to answer to the questions of the Jamaican people. And I said before, the people of Jamaica want to know, is the Governor General of Jamaica okay? Is he bedridden? Is he in a wheelchair? Why are we not hearing anything from the Governor General of Jamaica? The Governor General did a back surgery. Is it the same doctor that is in Wrangle and Tangle right now? Was he the same person who operated on the Governor General? Why did the Medical Council Board of Jamaica suspend Dr. Pathfinder license? Is it that he can't practice in Jamaica anymore? That's what they're saying. And so we are asking questions this afternoon here on this program. We're standing by to join the live feed from the People's National Party Town Hall meeting in St. James, Jamaica. But in the meantime, there's a live feed coming into us. As soon as they start, we'll go live to them. But we're asking questions this afternoon because Dr. Pathfinder is not keeping silent. I have some voice note here that was sent to me that I'm going to play. I am going to play these voice note that was sent to me. And Dr. Pathfinder, that means in any words. We must know, is that gentleman up there, is he a neurosurgeon or not? Is he a neurosurgeon or not? Questions were made to ask, and the people of this country who pay, the elites of this country, who believe they're better than the Jamaican people, need to answer questions. Dr. Pathfinder, medical license was suspended by the Medical Board of Jamaica, the Medical Council of Jamaica. On what grounds? On what grounds was Dr. Pathfinder medical license suspended by the Medical Council Board? I want to make you listen to something here that was sent to me this evening. The voice of the same doctor who gave out.
So I think.
Who gave out the first voice note about what is going on at UWI. As soon as the People's National Party Town Hall meeting starts, we will go live to St. James for this Town Hall meeting. Wherever you're listening, watching from around the world and the Eastern Caribbean, this is the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Share up this live feed. Let's get some people on this live feed. I must say good evening to our moderator, who is not well, walking in divine purpose. Good evening to you. I know you're watching me. Good evening. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. We're gonna play this thing here. I want you to listen to this. Some new things out. New things.
Hello to the great people of this nation and in the diaspora where more. Hello to the great people of this nation and in the diaspora where more Jamaicans live. I have come to, by way of printed media, to encounter something that is very strange. The attempt of the Medical Council to sanction my rights to treat people who come to me for help. Jamaica is already short of doctors. I, Roger Ian Oliver Hunter, am the most qualified neurosurgeon in Jamaica. Final neurosurgical qualifications in the West Indies, in England, where I finished in record time, as well as in Europe, where I came top in the UK for the Batman Award, primary exam in Uppsala, Sweden. I think it was Sweden. Of course, no was on the ground, and then won the overall prize in Luxembourg, the Duchy of Luxembourg. Again, snow was on the ground. The University of the West Indies had nothing financial, nothing. They paid nothing for my travels to these countries. Nothing. They paid me nothing. Yet they want to claim some part of ownership, but nonetheless, not to distract. This is all political. It stems from the fact that Carl Bruce, a serial violence producer, a serial attacker of healthcare workers, has been.
My question is this though. Why you haven't heard anything from the Medical Council Board of Jamaica about Carl Bruce, Dr. Carl Bruce, or from the government of Jamaica? What is going on in this country? And the more you talk about the drill, is the more this saga get deeper and deeper and stinker and stinker. And my question tonight, is it that the Jamaican people must not hear what is going on in this country? Is it that the Jamaican people should never be told if Dr. Carl Bruce is a neurosurgeon, yes or no? Is it that the Minister of Health himself has no respect or scant regard for the Jamaican people? What is going on? Are we going to go into an election and the Jamaican people going to sit by and says nothing about the saga that's going on at the University of the West Indies? And the government of Jamaica will never tell the Jamaican people, or the office of the Governor General, to tell the Jamaican people what is going on with the GG. Is the GG dead or alive? Is the GG incapacitated? Can the GG walk? Can the Governor General of Jamaica, can he walk? Obviously, he can't perform the function of the office of GG. They have given it to Costas Fuller, who's acting as Governor General. And the full pomp and pageantry is given to Costas Fuller because he's acting as GG. We are paying how much millions of dollars a year for the office of the Governor General, taxpayers of this country. And we are demanding answers tonight. We are demanding answers. Why is it that the Medical Council Board of Jamaica do not want to tell the Jamaican people if Dr. Carl Bruce is a neurosurgeon? The same way you can put out a flyer about Dr. Hunter or some news bulletin that he's no longer part of blue blah 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 blah. Why is it that you, the people who are the Medical Council Board, are so hypocritical and political that you all can't come out and tell the people of this country if Dr. Carl Bruce is a neurosurgeon? For those who are just joining us, we're standing by to join a live town hall meeting there in St. James. A live town hall meeting, the People's Town Hall meeting in St. James. We're standing by to join them. But as we go live to St. James, we're doing some programming work here. And we're asking questions tonight. We're asking questions tonight. Let me go back and play this thing here. Listen to what Dr. Hunter is saying.
Arrested. He is nothing. They paid me nothing. Yet they want to claim some part of ownership, but nonetheless, not to distract. This is all political. It stems from the fact that Carl Bruce, a serial violence producer, a serial attacker of healthcare workers, has been arrested. He is a senior medical officer of the University of the West Indies. And Patrick Hilton has been told time and time again to interdict him so that the police can further the investigation. Because when he I'd also like to remind the great people of Jamaica, those here and those in the diaspora, that when I explain to them how coronavirus operates, that's a virus that has been around for decades, thousands, millennia, and it comes and it goes, and it's still here. And the treatment for it is early treatment. And vaccines will never, ever work for viruses that mutate. It is virology, not ABC. Virology 1, 2, 3. That's why the influenza vaccine has never been mandated. The same thing for the cold virus. It will never been mandated. And thankfully, it has been removed. Ever since I decided that I am going to give my professional services free of cost, patients having to pay for the medication and whatever machinery or equipment what was used. But ever since I decided to open my mouth and tell Michael Sharp, do not worry, treat early. Tell all the people that this virus does not like the heat. Tell Dunstan Brand these things when he was isolating. He's still alive. By the way, where is the permanent secretary who oversaw coronavirus? Where is he? Is he well? And by the way, where is the Governor General of Jamaica? Is he well? Our taxpayers money needs to go to work.
You hear what she says? You hear what he says? The same question I'm asking. Where is the Governor General of Jamaica? Where is Sir Patrick Linton Allen? The GG has a press secretary. The office of the Prime Minister have a press secretary. We, the Jamaican people in Jamaica and in the diaspora, would like to know what is going on with Jamaica's Governor General. Our tax dollars are paying him. And we're demanding answers this evening. We are demanding answers from the Jamaican government. We are demanding answers from the office of the Governor General at King's House or from the King of England himself. Where is Jamaica's Governor General? Is the GG okay? Or is the GG not walking? Is the GG in a wheelchair? We need to know. And we have a right to know. They are the servant of the people of this country. We pay them. Them don't pay us. And we, the Jamaican people, need answers. And this cocky Prime Minister, this wannabe dictator Prime Minister, who believe that this country belongs to him and himself. The people of this country need to know. And since you love to chat your mouth, why don't you come and tell us what happened to the GG Prime Minister? Why is it the Medical Council Board of Jamaica do not suspend any further surgery at UA? Or the Minister of Health? Why can't they say, okay, no more surgery at UA? But you see what is going on, you know, as what my good friend Sir Robert Finney said, oh, what a tangled web we weave. It is a tangled web of what is going on in this country. A tangled web that we, the people, they don't have any respect for us. They have no scan regard for the people of this country. They can suspend Dr. Roger, the same gentleman there, Dr. Hunter. But they can't suspend Carl Bruce. And they can't come and tell the Jamaican people if this gentleman is a neurosurgeon or not. Because the level of corruption in this country, the level of nepotism and cronyism in this country is stinker than Riverton Dump. It's stinker than Riverton Dump. And it is sad. It is sad to see my fellow Jamaicans who all they can see is the color orange or the color green. They can't see this country, Jamaica. They can't see the country that is hemorrhaging from within. But what they can see is the color of a party and the die-heartedness of a party. But they can't see that you must be loyal to your country. Your country is first and foremost. And we're asking question of the Jamaican government and King's House and by extension Buckingham Palace. What is happening to Jamaica's Governor General? Listen to some more of what the doctor is saying.
We're paying 2 governor generals. So if it is that he's not well, then perhaps Sir Patrick Allen can give way to Kenneth Hall so that Kenneth Hall can do the people's work. Because I don't know who advised the Governor General to go to a neurosurgeon who has no fellowship training whatsoever.
You hear that? The doctor is saying he does not know who advised Jamaica's Governor General to go to a neurosurgeon who has no fellowship training whatsoever. So my question is, how long has Dr. Carl Bruce has been working at the University of the West Indies? How long? And does the Medical Council Board of Jamaica know that Dr. Carl Bruce is not a real neurosurgeon or not? It's alleged that it's alleged that he's not a real neurosurgeon. Does the Minister of Health know anything about it? The so-called Minister of Health? And I'm being told that today I got a call that Montego Bay General Hospital is infected with mold again. Mold all over the place. Why didn't they let down that building and build a new building? It is rumored that the Cornell Regional Hospital, as we speak, has more mold in it. It is infected with molds all over the building. We're in some serious times in this country, you know. 3 trillion unaccountable for Canana Pong. 31 million in a new drill Canana Pong. Prime Minister's statue of decoration can't be certified Canana Pong. And we can go on and on and on and on. 600 rounds of ammunition found in Westmoreland yesterday. Are they planning some destabilization in this country? Why so much guns is being found in Jamaica? 600 rounds of ammunition, 200 rounds the other day, now 600 rounds yesterday. What is going on in this country and nobody's been arrested for it? You believe if this was the United States, people head wouldn't be rolling? What is going on in the land of wood and water? What is really going on? And when you speak out, you're being labeled a dirty PNP or a dirty labor right. Are we going to see a repeat of the 1980s where they have so much ammunition coming into the country? Is there a repeat of the 1980s coming up? But if one party don't win, bangarang happen? Just asking some questions. I am being told that they find some exotic creatures in Westmoreland again too. Jamaica have enough mongoose. Jeffrey, don't say what I said tonight, you know. Because I said it today on a phone call and the person nearly died. The person laughed. And Jamaica have enough mongoose in the parliament too. So why are they importing mongoose into the country? Can one country have so much problem? There's nothing wrong with Jamaica that Jamaica cannot fix. And when I saw on Monday, the people took to the streets, all this man up on the street same way. Not a one-day wonder. 600 rounds of ammunition in a 2x4 country with a population of 2 million people. 600 rounds of ammunition. Is there some plans in the making for something bigger to happen in this country? 200 rounds of ammunition seized at some wharf in Kingston. No wharf, some warehouse in Kingston is alleged owned by some former member of the Labour Party. It's not 3 million, it's 2 point something million in Jamaica, not damn 3 million. Huh? What is going on? And nobody's addressing the nation of these things. Back in the days, you'll hear a special report. The Prime Minister of Jamaica would address the nation tonight at 8 o'clock. Then they're sitting there done. Because done they run the things. And all the rest are Donovans. He's the only Don in this party. If you don't like what Andrew do, get out of the camp. What is going on in Jamaica? What is truly going on in the land of wood and water? Is this nation at a pathway of no return? We have soldiers and policemen, our sons and our daughters in arms way in Haiti. And I know we can't hear nothing about them either. Are they dead or alive? The Americans decide to cut funding for that. Who is paying for our sons and daughters into Haiti? You don't hear nothing from the Minister of National Security. You hear nothing from the Prime Minister or the Commissioner of Police, Curly, Larry, and more 3 stooges. 3 stooges. Curly, Larry, and Mo. You heard nothing from the Three Stooges pertaining to our own brothers and sisters. There's the sisters in there. In arms went to Haiti. Who is paying for them over there? Are they okay? You can't hear nothing. $31 million neurodrill. And you hear nothing. In any other modern democracy, the minister of health will have a step down. In any other modern democracy, the minister of health will have to resign. In any other modern democracy, the prime minister, statute of education can't be certified, would have to step down. He could not have to be on the ballot again. He could not be on the ballot for our next election. This nation is in crisis. And if we don't do something about it, if we, the people of this country, don't get up and demand accountability, demand accountability in this country, then who will? It can't be that we are so naive. It can't be that all we can think about is the color orange or the color green. It cannot be. It can't be that we have no respect for this nation, that we don't think about the future of this country, that we don't think about the future of our children. All we can think about is a political party when a nation is hemorrhaging from within. Is this the country that they talk about live, work, and raise family where? In a country that gun is coming in left, right, and center, yet the Prime Minister boasts that he spent billions of dollars on security and border security and all kind of security? What sort of country are we living in? As we stand by to join the town hall meeting from Montego Bay, St. James, Montego Bay, or Montego Bay, St. James. We're here talking about issues facing our country. Dr. Carl Bruce is still at University of the West Indies, while they tell another doctor who has been speaking out against Carl Bruce that they can no longer practice medicine in Jamaica. You see the level of nastiness in this country? And you have some people that can think about is the party. Nothing wrong with $31 million. Huh? This country is in need of serious prayer and fasting. And don't depend on the churches to do that. We have to do it ourselves. Who they call outsiders of the churches. We who they call non-Christians. Because I'm not a Christian, I'm trying to live for God. Don't call me a Christian. I'm trying to live my life for the Lord thy God. Because they said that the Bible says that all the while the Spirit of God strive with men. So for those who think that these churches in this country are going to pray for us and make a sad mistake, very few. Very few. Because some of them who mix up in some nastiness all in a St. Thomas. Who now sexually assault young girls and get them pregnant Till just work have to come in. That's another topic for another day. Where is the GG? Where is Jamaica's Governor General? Why is Dr. Carl Bruce? Is it at UA? Why hasn't the Prime Minister addressed the situation of Carl Bruce or the Minister of Health? Why is it that the Office of the Governor General hasn't addressed the situation with the GG? I will pay the GG, you know, the GG not pay himself. We pay him. Listen to some more of this, please.
And is twice in front of the court for criminal assault. I don't know. But as for the medical council, no hearing, no due process, no right to face the accuser, nothing.
You see, they never give him the opportunity. The Medical Council Board of Jamaica never give the doctor the opportunity to come and have a meeting with them. Galang where they go when I want to anymore. Because they chat too much.
And here it is, you have lawyers and trade unions on the medical council. Thank God for the General Medical Council of UK, the specialist register. God.
No, tell me something now. How on earth you must have any accountability in this country when you have trade unionists and a kind of unionists and the Medical Council Board? What trade unionists know about Jeffrey, shut your mouth tonight. What trade unionists them know about medicine? Huh? Huh? Well, I'm there for me because me no know. Me no know. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of the talking. I am tired of the talking. It's action time now. Listen to some more of this.
God go with them. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm still the same Dr. Hunter who will treat anybody who comes to me for help. If they come freely of their own free will to me for help, the Medical Council of Jamaica sees a person like Dwight Whittle who fabricated histology results.
You hear that? Fabricated. Big word, you know. Fabricated. My God Almighty.
That's criminal. Who made false claims against Sajikura. That's criminal. Beverly Robotham Reynolds can tell you all about it. And yet, Dwight Whittle is practicing medicine. What in heaven's name is the police doing? They don't believe they can deal with medical matters? Do they believe?
My head they hurt me. My head they hurt me. You remember one time I came on this platform here and I asked the question, Mocha can go raid all over the place. Why Mocha can't raid the office of the Prime Minister? Why Mocha can't raid the office of Carl Bruce or the office of the Minister of Health? Have you ever heard of Mocha raiding the office of the Prime Minister of this country? Is the office of the Prime Minister exempt from the law of Jamaica? I know the GG is, but not the Prime Minister. And Dr. Hunter asks a very serious question. Why is it that the police not doing anything about what is going on? You have a right to say that I'm mad for true. Andrew, if you know about what they do. Let's go live to the town hall meeting in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Let's go live over to the town hall meeting in Montego Bay. We can see that. Let's see if there is any sound coming into us. Okay, there's no sound coming to us as yet. Let's stand by. Let me see another feed. If there's another feed coming in with that town hall meeting. Let me see something here. Stand by for us. Okay. Just stand by. As soon as we can get a live audio, we go live to them. We're standing by. We can see opposition spokesperson on tourism, Janice Allen. In the black, they're talking to that gentleman there who's a Rastafarian. Anyway, let's go back to what we're talking about until Montego Bay is ready for us. A beautiful shot over Montego Bay there. Beautiful shot over the city of Montego Bay. Beautiful shot. The city of Montego Bay there as we come to you live for this People's Town Hall meeting. Until they're ready for us, we'll continue talking here. We don't understand what is going on. We don't understand what is going on in this country. Dr. Hunter is asking some serious questions. Dr. Hunter, Pathfinder, is asking some very serious questions. And we, the people, are asking questions too. Our nation is in some serious problems. Let's listen to some more what Dr. Carl Bruce is saying. Dr. Hunter is saying rather. Then we go live to Montego Bay as soon as they're ready for us.
Believe that it's too hard for them. Anyway, back to the matter. I treated Christopher Tufton's teacher, Valda Dixon, and she said she tried hard with him. She tried very hard with him. But I don't think he took well to learning. And here it is, Jamaica has landed with the worst health minister in recent memory. The worst health minister. And now we are facing the direct consequence of it. And we are seeing where the law has been encroached upon without due justice and a breach of my fundamental human rights, the right for natural justice. But this government, from the very moment they entered again, they do not like the judicial system.
You hear what she said? She was not given the fair right. The fair right. She was not given the fair right to speak out. He went on to say that from this government came into power, they have no scan regard.
Ladies and gentlemen,
NEKEISHA
good evening. Please welcome Jamaica. Keep standing, keep standing. Let's stand for the national anthem of Jamaica. Thank you. You may be seated. Help me welcome Reverend Glendon Harris for prayer.
Good afternoon, comrades. Before I go into prayer, I'd want us, Comrade Sylvan, come here. I'd want us to sing one verse of I Must Have the Savior with me. For I dare not walk alone. So, rise, stand up.
I must have the Savior with me, for I dare not walk. I must feel His presence near, and His arms around me thrown, and His arms around me thrown. Then my soul shall fear no ill. Let it lead me where I will go without a murmur, and His footsteps follow still.
Remain standing as we go to the throne of grace. Almighty, ever-living, ever-loving Father, as we gather this evening, you know our purpose. You know the reason why we are here. Because we want to build your kingdom here on earth. Father God, bless each and every one of us that has gathered here. Bless our leader, our prime minister to be. Bless all the executive members, all those that will stand in the gap for the people across Jamaica. For loving God, come within us, stay within us, guide us, protect us, Father God, and ensure that your will is done. We know, Father God, that there are several evil around us. We know, Father God, that there are those that don't want us to be in the position. But Father God, as a loving God, bring us to the place that all may be satisfied and all will give you the glory, in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Amen, amen. All right, thank you. That's our former mayor, Glendon Harris. Ladies and gentlemen, comrades, friends, neighbors, St. James people, good evening. Now, I feel especially proud to be the one asked to moderate here this evening, because as a St. James girl, and even more as a South St. James girl, I'm proud to be here this evening. What's the purpose of this forum this evening? It is the third in the National People's Forum that was envisioned by our party president and leader of the opposition, Mark Golding. He said to the party, we've been going around the country. We've been meeting people in their homes. They've been getting up and close and personal with me. I want them to hear from me and from the shadow cabinet what we have in mind for governance when we go back to Jamaica House. He said, it's not a one-way street, it's a two-way street. So while this evening we will speak to you about those policies, those priorities that we will have when we get to government, we're here to hear from you. So you won't hear the vuvuzelas this evening. You will instead hear the voice of the people, their issues, their concerns, their ideas, and their feedback to the suggestions we will make here today. That's the People's National Party difference. Now, we canvassed the group to say what would be important to talk to the people of St. James about today. So many issues. After all, we are the second city in Jamaica. So some issues came up. Tourism. We talked about tourism and how we want to make tourism work for the people of Jamaica. We also talk about labor, because mixed in with tourism and how we power St. James is how our workers are treated, what policies are there for them, and how they will fare in a world of increasing hardships. We also spoke about citizen security, because for us in the People's National Party, citizen security is not about statistics, who died yesterday, who may die tomorrow, but how together we will create principles, priorities that will put you and your safety in mind. We also spoke about so many other issues, but we could not bring the entire shadow cabinet here. So while Wavell, Janice, and Peter are here, our esteemed, our brilliant, did I say brilliant already? Our brilliant, I said it already. Our brilliant party leader, the legal luminary, Mark Golding, will take us through the rest. Ladies and gentlemen, we have something in store for you this evening. I want you to sit back, don't relax too much, because it's going to be hard talk this evening. To kick us off, we will have Mr. Alan Bernard. He is a deputy shadow minister with responsibility for social transformation and social protection. The MP candidate for Northwest St. James. He's going to bring you greetings.
Thank you very much, NEKEISHA. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the great constituency of Northwest St. James. I feel honored today to be welcoming you, and I'll also take the opportunity to introduce to you the team from Northwest St. James, as well as to introduce the candidates for the parish of St. James. I want to acknowledge the divisional leaders from the Paradise Division, Mr. Andrew Henry. From the Norwood Division, Mr. Floyd Hitchman. And Miss Tamara Buchanan from the Glendovan Division. There she is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the team from Northwest St. James that intends to put this constituency back in the winning column for the People's National Party. I have spent close to 30 years working with stalwarts from the People's National Party and in the parish of St. James to develop community and bring about genuine transformation. I want to use this opportunity, Comrade Leader, to mention one such stalwart, Mrs. Marilyn McIntosh Nash, a past constituency and regional secretary who would have mentored, nurtured, and would have grown to become one of my closest friends and allies, not only in our quest to develop community, but in my pursuit to become a representative for the People's National Party. Maki, as she was affectionately called, is no longer here with us, but her work continues. The mantra that captures Marlene's work, the mantra, the PNP, and the reason for me taking on this task is simple. It is you do the things because it's the right thing to do. This is what has led me to the People's National Party and to representational politics. We intend in Northwest St. James to do the things for the people of Northwest St. James, to do the things for the people of St. James, to do the things for the people of Jamaica, simply because it's the right thing to do. I want to welcome you, Party Leader. This is our second function for the day. I want to welcome you to Montego Bay, welcome you to Northwest St. James. Peter Bunting, my sister and friend Janice Allen, Wavell, welcome to Montego Bay, welcome to Northwest St. James. This is about you, it's about you hearing from us, listening to us, putting your questions to us, and go and make that choice. The time to be happy is now. The place to be happy is here. And the way to be happy is to help the People's National Party make
Apparently they're having some technical difficulties. Let me see if I can do anything from my end, and I doubt it because I'm having the live feed coming into us. Has nothing to do with me. Has nothing to do with me. We are apparently okay. Hold on there for me. Has nothing to do with me. Let me see if I can refresh my system from here.
And the way to be happy is to help the People's National Party make.
Okay, there is a signal problem coming to us from them, not from me. So we're going to stand by until they're ready for us. We go back live to them. Just to let you know that at 8:30 p.m., Come Reason It Rattigan will be aired tonight. So at 8:30 p.m., Come Reason It Rattigan will be on tonight. The Make We Talk program is coming to you live from St. James, the People's National Party Town Hall meeting. Obviously, they're having some technical difficulties over there with their system. Has nothing to do with the Make We Talk system here. You can see we are live. They're having some technical difficulties with their system, apparently because maybe the weather or something, I don't know. But as soon as they're ready for us, we will go back to the live town hall meeting over there in St. James, where the opposition leader and president of the People's National Party is there. Opposition spokesperson and national security, Mr. Peter Bunting. Ms. Janice Allen, opposition spokesperson and tourism. Mr. Wavell Hinds, opposition spokesperson and labor and sports, is expected to speak tonight. We're still waiting on that live feed. Don't know what really happened, but we are trying to get them to figure out what's going on. I think they're having some internet issue. Yes. Thank you. They're having some internet issue over there. Let me see if I can get a hold of somebody who I know is in the midst there, maybe the communication director for the PNP, to see if they can tell us what is, if they're gonna have anything go on there. But based on what, there we go. I think we're having something. I think we're gonna see. We see
type of cancer that can cure it. So Jamaica has a remarkable potential to use this industry to create wealth and uplift the grassroots. Fundamentally, when we talk about they see us playing the futsal and wondering what it is. It's not the same scrimmage that they play over there in Glendevon and Norwood. It's a globally accepted international game where players are earning millions of US dollars to play in Italy, Spain, all of Europe. So when you see us bringing a game up from the grassroots and playing it by the real rules, the real ball, the real goal, and the referee with the real understanding of the game, it is to provide options for income generation for our young boys who cannot make it to pay 11 aside, cannot make the reggae boys and play football for Jamaica in the World Cup, but they can make it to play futsal in the World Cup. And this is the transformational leadership that the PNP is bringing to Montego Bay. These things are outside of the scope of the Member of Parliament who is running. And it is outside of the scope of the Jamaica Labour Party because they cannot understand that no more than ever young people have recognized that different industries are being created every year and different avenues are there for them to create wealth. All they need is the support. The suppressive politics that has plagued this city over the last 20, 30 years must be a thing of the past. Tonight, we have an esteemed panel. Comrade Wavell, real general. Comrade Peter Bunting, real general. Comrade Janice Allen, real general. And our leader, Comrade Mark Golin, who is going to usher in a new transformational, non-apologetic, non-nepotic, favor-granting government that is dedicated towards moving the grassroots of people forward and, more importantly, creating wealth for a nation of such remarkable people. This is the People's National Party. This is change. Time come.
That was Dr. Andre Horton, the next Member of Parliament for West Central St. James. I'm going to tell you about a man I met a couple of years ago. Was so impressed by him that today I follow him. His grandfather is from my constituency in Cambridge, right up there, so. He's quiet. He's so unassuming. He's not the loudest in the room. He's not gonna wear clocks and tell you, say, him belly full already. Because even though he has come from much, he and his family, they've given much more to this country, Jamaica. I'm gonna tell you about a quiet leader who leads with compassion. I'm going to tell you about a dedicated man whose brilliance transformed the legislative framework of Jamaica in the past. It has gone to sleep now. It will arise once more when this man, who is husband to Sandra, the beautiful princess, will take office. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the next Prime Minister of Jamaica, Mark Jefferson Golding.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Master of Ceremonies and next Member of Parliament for South St. James, Comrade NEKEISHA BURCHELL. And
Greetings to our panel, my comrades and colleagues, our candidates here in the room. We have Dr. Andre Horton, we have from Hanover, Comrade Andrea Perkis, Comrade Heather Miller, Alan Bernard, Rochelle Reed-Nutt, and of course Janice, who you'll be hearing more from in a while. This town hall, as has been said, is the third in a series that we've been having, really to give an opportunity to interact with residents, community members, the people, in a way that we can go into a bit more depth in some of our ideas, and to hear, importantly, to hear from you on the issues of the day and how you feel about things, to make your suggestions and comments so that we can have the benefit of your wisdom and understanding and experience in forming our policies and programs as we proceed to form the next government here in Jamaica. Now, at the center of the next PNP government must be a very strong ethical framework. Yeah. The values, the morals, the attitudes which make us a productive, caring, and peaceful nation are essential to nurture and promote, to take Jamaica forward, to reach the heights that we ought to be striving for and that we are capable of, but which seem to be eluding us as we find ourselves enmeshed in a quagmire of corruption, cronyism, bad governance, and other dispiriting things that we hear about almost every day. As you know right now, we're faced with a situation where the Prime Minister of the country is under pressure because his financial affairs cannot be certified by the Integrity Commission of the country, the anti-corruption agency of the country, as being above board and in order from 2021 going forward, because he has assets which his lawful income can't support. And that is what illicit enrichment, which is an offense, a serious offense under the Corruption Prevention Act, that is what illicit enrichment means. And he has been investigated for this. And at the end of a long and detailed investigation, the Integrity Commission said, well, we aren't able to come to a final conclusion on the matter because we weren't provided some of the information by Mr. Holness that we'd asked. And there's sufficient there to warrant further investigation to get to the facts. Things like several $7 million of cash deposits, raw cash being deposited to his account from anonymous sources, 28 bank accounts that he controls, either in his name or his company's names, over $470 million of flows moving across his bank accounts in thousands of transactions, and of course, the filing of nil returns by those same companies, suggesting that they're dormant or weren't active, had no income when all these flows have been passing through the accounts. And then the Positive Jamaica Foundation, an NGO, a non-profit organization that was set up to solicit and receive funding from here and abroad to be spent on worthy causes, those resources being used to buy financial investments in his personal company's name. All of these things really suggest something is very much amiss, and that the Financial Investigations Division must look into it much more carefully and deeply. And what have we heard now? Well, we've heard that somebody who has come on public radio, looked at the report of the Integrity Commission and said, oh, despite all the things I've mentioned, there's nothing there, there's nothing wrong with any of that. That is the person who they want to put and have put to be the head, the chief technical director of the Financial Investigations Division that is charged with completing the investigation of the Prime Minister. Someone who he's closely associated with, and somebody who, although an accountant, has no law enforcement experience, no particular qualifications in the area of fighting financial crimes, money laundering, terrorism financing, which are the core requirements to run the FID. The FID is an investigative law enforcement agency, and it's a very important one because it is the authority that international law enforcement, anti-corruption and anti-financial crime agencies interact with Jamaica. There's a group called the Egmont Group that is all of the countries that have achieved certain standards and want to be part of an international alliance to fight against these things. Jamaica's agency that interfaces with those countries is the FID. So this is a totally untenable situation, and I'm very happy that various non-government and non-political organizations have come forward and said this is untenable, this doesn't look right, it should not stand. And I'm very disappointed that there are some leaders in the private sector who seem to think there's nothing wrong with what has taken place. I suggest that they reconsider the matter and look at the facts, because it is absolutely clear and blatant that this appointment is totally inappropriate, untenable, and should not stand. So we have taken a resolute position against this. We had a very successful, peaceful demonstration on Monday morning at National Heroes Circle to register publicly our absolute disgust.
Okay, there they have it again. They're having technical difficulties. Has nothing to do with my internet. Has nothing to do with my internet. The feed coming in from them is having some shady crack on here and there with their internet system, and the weather is not that good either. So we're going to stand by to rejoin them as the president of the People's National Party is talking. We're going to stand by to join them. Let me see something here. Something is not adding up here. Hold on there.
To register publicly our absolute disgust with what is happening, and we will continue the struggle. He should have reflected on that matter and taken certain decisions, but they're obviously determined to should have reflected on that matter and taken certain decisions, but they're obviously to tough it out and see what happens. Don't like it. They don't like the smell of it. They don't like the look of it. They don't like the feel of it. And I think it's what I'd call good-minded behavior to stand up against bad administration, to stand up against corruption, to stand up against this type of situation that is bringing our country into disrepute. So I'm saying let us stand behind good-minded behavior and stand up for what is right. Do the right thing. Thank you. And I plan, when we next form government, which will be soon, because all Wagwan, them can run but them can't hide. They have to face the people. And you know, if they felt comfortable and confident, this would have happened a long time. We were planning for an election from February. And you know, because typically governments don't like to go to the wire with these things because it narrows their room for maneuver and so on. But they have been deferring it and deferring it. But it's not going to change. The people of Jamaica have made up their mind. And they want change. And they see the programs and policies that we are speaking about. And they understand that it is very important that the People's National Party be brought back into government so we can deliver a government that the people can have confidence in, and a program and policies that will address some of the critical issues facing the nation and holding us back. So we are very pleased, for example, let us look at the issue of health care. And this is a real issue here in St. James, where your leading hospital, your Taipei Hospital, the Cornell Regional Hospital, has been the subject of what I would say is the mother of all negligently and ineptly executed projects in the history of Jamaica. A project that should have been finished years ago, a project that should have been completed within a couple $2 billion, has now gone into what? Its 8th year or something like that. The cost of the project has gone to over $21 billion. That is that's an overrun of 10 times the original figure. And the government is trying to, cut ribbons for administrative offices when the hospital itself is in a dire situation. And, although their apologists will try and cover it up and say everything all is well, the people of St. James and Western Jamaica know that that is a terrible condition, a terrible situation, a life-threatening situation for the people here, which is a disgrace and should never have been allowed to be where it is. We are looking at a different approach to healthcare, and some of the things that we have in mind are, for example, focusing on the major causes of death in the country, which are non-communicable diseases, which are things that are lifestyle related. High levels of diabetes, high levels of kidney disease, high levels of hypertension, which is pressure, and of course cancers. And the problem with food insecurity, which the UN, the FAO, the Food and Agricultural Organization of the UN has said 55%, that's more than half, of Jamaicans are facing moderate to severe food insecurity. That means that they're either not eating sufficient food for what they need to live properly, or they're eating the wrong kinds of foods, unhealthy foods, because they can't afford a nutritious diet. And that situation feeds into those very non-communicable diseases that we're talking about. And the health system needs to have a much more aggressive approach, much more proactive approach to screening people for these diseases, so you catch them early. There are so many people in Jamaica who are hypertensive and don't know. There are people who have cancer and don't know, and they don't know until it's very late in the day, and then it's much harder to treat it successfully and much more expensive for the public health system to carry and for the people themselves to deal with what is required to try and fight those diseases then. So we want to introduce a comprehensive screening program that gets everybody tested early so that we can nip these things in the bud when they're not life-threatening and when the costs of doing so are more manageable. We also are aware that many of the operating theaters across the country are in a bad state. Many of them are closed, and closed because pieces of equipment, basic things like air conditioning units or mold or pieces of equipment are not working. And we are planning to refurbish all of the operating theaters in the public health system so that they're all working and functioning as they should. And then we have this idea of establishing urgent care centers. And urgent care centers in every parish would be where you could be taken if there's an emergency, to have your life saved, to stabilize the situation, and then after that you're stable, you can then be taken to a proper hospital to deal with the remedial side of the condition. Yeah. And of course, we see the need for preventive maintenance being a central part of how you manage the healthcare system, as it is for how you manage the road network. But it's two different areas, but both have that in common, which is that if you don't maintain the assets that you have, the assets don't work for you. And you have this situation in the health system now where so many pieces of equipment are not working either at all or not properly working. And so people have to be going to the private sector now, private providers for their diagnostic tests, which is costing individuals or the state huge amounts of money. And we believe that this can be dealt with by having a proper system of preventive maintenance for the equipment that we invest in, so that the equipment can work properly for its scheduled life and then can be replaced with new equipment when its scheduled life comes to an end. So we're very big on preventive maintenance in all areas. And of course, we want to support our healthcare workers because we need to keep them in the system, and many of them are leaving. So we're looking at things like housing opportunities, looking at the pay packages for them, and training opportunities as well to make it easier for them to stay in the health system, to make it beneficial for them to stay in the health system rather than migrate, for example, as many are now doing. Education, I move to, another vital area. Now, one of the reasons why, yeah, you soon get a chance, brother. Let me talk and then you can get a chance after. I love the passion still. But you know, our economy has not been able to grow out of the stagnant GDP per capita of around 67,000 US per individual Jamaican. We have been stuck in that range despite all the good work that has been done to get our public finances into a sustainable state, to get the debt of the country down to manageable levels and all of that, which the last 10 plus years, more than 10 years, 15 years, the country has been focused on dealing with. Yet the economy is not generating wealth for the people and is stagnant. And the levels of growth are very, very small. And we know that in order to address that, you have to fix the education and training system of the country, because it is the productivity of the people that will make the whole economy more productive and therefore attract investment and generate good paying jobs that can make our people generate wealth for themselves and their families. Right now, the education system is failing in so many respects. Over 30% of primary school children who leave and go into secondary school are illiterate, cannot read and write, cannot do basic arithmetic, over 30%. And we have to look at the causes of that and deal with them in a very serious way. Things like nutrition in the schools, in primary schools, the way in which we train our teachers, for example, the role of the Jamaican language in teaching children to master English and master arithmetic in homes where people speak our language. Many Jamaican homes are not bilingual homes. They're homes where English is not the first language. Our language is the first language, but the system assumes otherwise. And we're seeing some of the results of that false assumption playing out. So we really have to re-engineer how we deal with early childhood and primary education and tackle the real causes that are holding this large percentage of our children back, including things like special needs and assessing those who have learning disabilities and catching that early. Right now, there's insufficient attention and resources placed on that area, and it is a really important area as well. We also are looking at the training system of the country, and this is an area where we feel the private sector and the state need to work very closely together to drive the productivity of the workforce, ensuring that training opportunities are available, which are relevant, and which are going to help people to get jobs and good jobs. So we plan to support private sector investment in training with a matching dollar-for-dollar grant out of heart, so that if a firm is providing training opportunities by investing in training its workforce to upskill them so that new technologies can be adopted, so the firms can be more competitive globally, increase their sales, and pay their workers better, we will provide support for the investment in training, because we see that as vital to moving the country up. And we have a plan, for example, to deal with the absenteeism that we see, which is a major cause of some of the underperformance of the children in school, because there is a huge learning loss where you're not attending school 5 days a week. If you miss school 1 day a week for the duration of primary school, you're missing 20% of your education, which is, studies show, that is just too much to keep up. So what are the causes of this absenteeism? Many parents struggle to find lunch money to send their children to school, and the transportation costs are high, especially in rural communities where there's no state-run bus service. So we have a program called EASE, where we are going to be providing all needy children with at least one hot, nutritious meal per day at school, at primary and secondary school. And we have another program called RIDE, where we'll be providing a subsidy to starting with 20,000 families. Right now on the path, it's about 7,500. We're expanding that to 20,000 families who the schools identify need it most, to help them to cover the cost of transportation to and from school for their children. And as the economy improves, we're going to increase that number dramatically until we've introduced a proper rural transportation system for the country. These are things that will reduce absenteeism and make life easier for the families of Jamaica to support education and ensure their children get the full education that they need and deserve. And then, of course, we have our First in Family program. And that is a program that has been championed by our spokesperson for education, Senator Damon Crawford. And essentially it works like this. If you have a young person or any person from a family who has qualified to enter university or a tertiary institution, and that person is the first in their family, in their household, to have attended a tertiary institution, the government will pay the full tuition cost of that student. And we've costed it out, and we see how we're going to deal with it. And that child, that student, when they get their degree and step into the world of work as a fully trained person, can help their family transform as well. Their siblings, take them out of this intergenerational poverty, which is a feature of life in Jamaica, where people from one generation to the next, the poverty passes down. And of course, housing is another critical area. Land and housing, I should say, because although we have seen a lot of real estate developments being built while this government has been in office, those developments are really for people who have resources already and can afford to buy houses that are 25, 30, 40, 50 million dollars. But the ordinary Jamaican everyday people, including professionals, young professionals in particular, but everybody who don't quite have it at that level, virtually no homes are being built for them. And there's a huge unmet demand for affordable housing. And so we have decided we have to deal with that. We have to bring the National Housing Trust back into its central original purpose that Michael Manley built it for, which is to ensure that our people have housing. And we're going to stop taking, this government for the last 10 years has been taking $11.4 billion a year out of the Housing Trust to fund the budget. And that is why the Housing Trust has been weakened and has been unable to fulfill its real mandate. And in fact, right now, other than the loans to the lowest paid contributors, all other NHT loans are not even funded, the money doesn't come from the NHT. They have to outsource it to the private lending market, the banks, and then pay the banks a subsidy to get them to lend the money at the interest rates that the NHT advertise. So that is a huge additional financial cost to the NHT, weakening it. So we need to repurpose and bring back the NHT to its original mandate and keep those resources in the NHT so it can do what it should be doing. And then we are going to compensate the people of Jamaica who have suffered from this depletion of resources from the NHT by making public lands available for housing, not agricultural lands, non-agricultural lands that are owned by the government. We are going to make them available for development for affordable housing, and we're not going to include the value of the land in the price of the house to keep it down for the people. And for the first-time buyers, if you're an NHT contributor for at least 2 years, many of our people struggle to find the money for a deposit to pay down on a house. We are going to allocate an annual amount of $1 billion from within the NHT itself to provide grant support of $500,000 for first-time buyers to help them get on the ownership ladder as early as possible. That's a grant. And then we have the rent-to-own scheme. And the rent-to-own is another innovation. If you want to qualify for a mortgage, you have to prove your income so you can show that you have the ability to pay the loan. For people who are self-employed, doing a little selling or whatever their hustling may be, or they might be working for somebody, but it's not a big business that generates pay slips that can be presented. They can't qualify right now. And what we intend to do is bring those people into the ownership system by saying they can go into occupation of the NHT house with a view to buying, but initially as a tenant, and pay the rent, which would be equivalent to what the mortgage payments would be. And if they are able to make their monthly payments as a tenant, after 6 months or so, we will say, you have proved your income. Time to transition now from being a tenant to being an owner, and we will let you have the mortgage and step up in life. And of course, we have our Porsche program, which is named after Sister P. And that is about things like completing all of the Operation Pride schemes that are out there that were not finished and this government has ignored, completing the infrastructure, ensuring the titles are issued, and looking at other informal settlements and bringing solutions to upgrade them so people can become formal owners of a decent community instead of living on the margins of society. And dealing with things like the zinc fences in communities and the poor sidewalks that persons with disabilities struggle with and all that kind of thing. Porsche is going to be a social upliftment program for the people of Jamaica to deal with some of the endemic poverty that pervades. And in St. James, that is a real issue because we know the issues around land tenure here in St. James. So the last point I want to make before I close is the whole question of beach access. And you know, we are in a country which is blessed. We're in an island. We're in one of the most beautiful islands. And we're blessed with lovely beaches around our coast. But over time, because of the way that we have developed, and I'm not going to throw any stones or cast any aspersions, but the reality is that so many of our beaches are not accessible to our people. There are less and less beaches where our people can go and cool out, chill out, hold a meds, build a vibes, and just relax and recreate. And we feel that that is not a situation, we can't support that system any longer. So we are going to be looking at ways of negotiating with those who control those beaches. If they are owned by the government, we will continue to maintain or improve them and make them accessible to the people at a very affordable basis. But if they are in private hands, we're going to have discussions with the industry to see how we can reach a win-win situation where our people can have access to the beaches of this land. And if necessary, we'll use the law to ensure that this is done. And you know, there's around the rest of the Caribbean, tourists come and are on beaches where the local people are as well, and they don't have this system which excludes their people from the beaches. And Jamaica cannot move forward on the basis that we exclude our own people from the nicest spots in the country. We don't support them thing there. So we have work to do. And I noticed actually that the Minister for the Environment in his sectoral debate presentation, having been agitating around this issue for a while, says, well, for all new projects, and he even showed a picture of a new project where there's a pathway built for access from the road to the beach for the public. And I'm like, good, well, that's a start. But what about all the existing ones that exist already? There are provisions in the law for addressing that. And to the extent that they're inadequate, I will fix that and make sure so we go through. So people, we have work to do. Jamaica has a lot of potential. We know that. We are a great people. We are a remarkable people. But we are also a people that are not moving forward in the way that we should to achieve our greatness. And we need to really tackle some of the issues, the legacy issues that are holding us back as a people. And that's what the next PNP government is going to be elected to do. And that is what we're determined to deliver for the people with a clean heart, pure heart, and clean hands. No hanky-panky business. And if anybody violate, then we're going to feel the result of that. Because we want to make sure that the people of Jamaica can trust us when we're in government, because they're sick and tired of what has been going on for far too long. Comrades, God bless. The word is love.
Ladies and gentlemen, isn't it refreshing to hear somebody so brilliant, clear, coherent ideas and not someone shouting at us? Ladies and gentlemen, the next Prime Minister, Mark Golding. It is my duty to recognize some very special guests with us this evening. Allow me to recognize Arthur Nelson and Mrs. Nelson, who are here with us this evening. The man who is organizing the troops for victory, my boss, the next Minister of Agriculture, General Secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell. We have with us, ladies and gentlemen, some of the representatives who will be in Parliament next. You know the St. James ones already, but we have Andrea Perkis, Heather Miller, and Andrea Dehaney, Deputy Mayor of Hanover. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not really biased, but my neighbor from over the corner, former Maroon Chief Murdy Rowe, is here with us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to invite for you quickly someone who is gonna take the first bat of the ball, the first crack of the ball. You see what I did there? Yeah? He's no stranger to being the opener. Ladies and gentlemen, my predecessor, Derek Kelly. A round of applause. I was going to introduce Wavell, but the laborites have been saying that we're calling for our senior parliamentarians who've retired to the pavilion to come out. But if we're proud of our people, what we go to hide them? We are proud of those who have served, and we're happy they still want to be a part of what we're into. Derek Kelly. Now I was saying about my batsman. Him have on him pad and a bat, and you'll have to duck every now and again because some 6 and some 4 and some leg by and so wide. Me know me thing, don't? Him go ball. Our opener, Wavell Hinds, Shadow Minister for Labour and Sports.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Comrade Burchell. I'm in your hometown. I see my General Secretary here, Dr. Comrade Dayton Campbell, and I see Shamil as well. It's nice to be in Region 6, and it's nice to be back doing some work. I want to recognize, before I go further, my former constituency of Eastern Hanover, who is now represented by my former road manager and treasurer, Comrade Andrea Perkis. And alongside her is the chairman and councillor for the Sandy Bay Division and the current deputy mayor of Lucy, Comrade Andrea Dehaney Grant. Comrades, I have the very hard task of trying to protect the sector that will look after all the sectors, or some of the sectors our comrade leader just spoke about. The labor force. With all the hospitals and the beaches and this futsal that my colleague spoke about earlier, we have a workforce that has to work within those spaces and they need to be protected. Good. So I'll say to you, it's great to be here with you today to discuss issues that impact us all. Issues that affect the very heart of our economy and society, our workers. The People's National Party has long been a champion of workers' rights. A tradition started by prime ministers like Michael Manley, P.J. Patterson, our beloved Portia Simpson Miller. Today I want to reaffirm our commitment to continue that fight with a particular focus on the protection of workers' rights through enforcement of the international labor laws, International Labor Organization standards, and ensuring that workers is not left behind. I will be discussing issues that directly affect the everyday worker, precarious employment, the misuse of contract work, underfunded labor offices, and even the impact of foreign workers replacing Jamaican workers in certain sectors. Precarious employment and contract abuse. One of the most pressing issues we face as a country is the rampant misuse of contract work. It's an issue that cannot be ignored. In many industries, workers are hired on short-term contracts, often renewed repeatedly. These workers are doing the same job year after year, but because they are classified as temporary, they are denied the benefits, security, and rights that permanent employers are entitled to. This creates a situation where workers are vulnerable to abuse and exploitation. It's unacceptable for workers to be subjected to unfair working conditions simply because of how their contracts are structured. We stand by the principle that work is not a commodity. Workers must be treated with dignity and provided with security in their employment. The PMP will introduce and pass legislation to regulate contract work in Jamaica. The law will limit the duration and scope of short-term contracts and ensure that repeated renewals trigger automatic reclassification to permanent status, thereby providing workers with job security and access to the benefits they deserve. Strengthening the Ministry of Labor and Social Security infrastructure. The work of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security is critical in addressing many of the challenges faced by Jamaican workers. However, the ministry's infrastructure, particularly in the West, right here in Montego Bay, requires urgent improvement. I want to commend the staff in the region, both in the office at Sam Sharp Square and at the Industrial Dispute Tribunal, IDT. They are doing an outstanding job with limited resources. But the truth is, they need more support. A PMP government will provide the necessary resources to improve the ministry's capacity, including increasing personnel assigned to these offices and expanding the staff at the IDT. We will also consider adding a second panel in the West to ensure cases are heard promptly and disputes are resolved in a more timely manner. The long waits for hearings are unacceptable, and they were not what was envisioned when the Labor Relations Industrial Disputes Act was passed 50 years ago. Ensuring Jamaican jobs are protected through work permits. Another pressing issue is the use of the work permits. There have been numerous complaints about foreign workers taking jobs that Jamaicans could and should be doing. We have heard the cries of our entertainers, ground transport operators, and other sectors that their livelihoods are being undermined by foreign workers brought in to fill positions that could have easily been filled by qualified Jamaican workers. A PMP government will enforce stricter regulations when issuing work permits. We will ensure that no work permit is granted unless it is first confirmed that no Jamaican is available to perform that task. We will put in place a rigorous mechanism to screen all work permit applications, ensuring that Jamaican workers are being replaced by foreign workers. Addressing the BPO sector. The business process outsourcing sector is one of Jamaica's fastest growing industries, employing tens of thousands of Jamaicans. However, workers in this sector continue to face precarious conditions, low wages, and a lack of job security. It's critical that we provide better protection for BPO workers, ensuring that they enjoy the same rights and benefits as workers in the other sectors. This includes ensuring that wages are fair, working conditions are safe, and that job security is guaranteed. The PMP will work to ensure that the BPO industry adopts ethical working practices that protect workers and provide a pathway to career development rather than a revolving door of short-term contracts. Establishing a joint industrial council in the tourism sector. A few months ago, we witnessed strikes and protests in the tourism sector where workers expressed their dissatisfaction with low wages and poor working conditions. These protests drew attention to the deep-rooted issues in the sector that must be addressed. While some progress was made, we cannot continue to rely on protests to bring about change. The tourism sector is vital to our economy, and we need a better system in place to ensure that workers are treated fairly and with dignity. A PMP government will work with all stakeholders, hotel owners, management, unions, and the workers themselves to improve industrial relations in the sector. We will establish a joint industrial council in the sector to foster better cooperation and resolve the issues that have plagued it for too long. The JIC will facilitate regular dialogue, ensuring that all voices are heard and that sustained solutions are found. It will also help establish fairer working conditions and improve benefits for tourism workers. We stand for decent work as promoted by the International Labour Organization, and we believe in the power of partnership between workers and employers to make this a reality. Empowering our employers to adopt ethical practices. On the employer side, we must ensure that hiring practices are ethical and transparent. Workers should reserve work contract for genuinely temporary or non-core functions, such as seasonal work, special projects, and not for permanent roles that are integral to the ongoing operations of a company. To support this, we propose that employers submit their organizational charts to the Ministry of Labor, detailing the roles that require contract work. This will help the ministry to ensure that work contracts is used correctly and not as a loophole to avoid offering permanent positions with benefits. We also encourage businesses to establish internal compliance mechanisms that conduct regular labor audits to ensure they are meeting legal and ethical standards. This proactive approach will help prevent exploitation and ensure fair and just workplace for all. Workers and trade unions. For our workers, it is essential that they remain vigilant in protecting their rights. Unions must play a key role in tracking and reporting abuse, and workers should be educated about their rights under the law and union agreements. We will also establish tripartite monitoring committees that include equal representation from government, employers, and unions. These committees will oversee and review the status of contract labor practices, violations, and enforcement, ensuring data-driven reforms are enacted. Furthermore, we will launch pilot programs in key industries like construction, hospitality, security to test new enforcement tools such as digital contract registration and grievance portals. These programs will serve as modules for broader reforms across sectors. In closing, let me reiterate, the PMP stands committed to ensuring that every Jamaican worker receives dignity, respect, security, and the security they deserve. We will act swiftly to tackle the issue of contract abuse, improve the Ministry of Labor's infrastructure, protect Jamaican jobs from foreign competition, establish better industrial relations in key sectors like tourism and the BPO. The time for change is now. We need a government that stands with its workers. We need a government that puts people first. Together we will build a better, more equitable Jamaica for all. I thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, after those 6s and 4s, the only thing that could top that is a woman on a mission. Ladies and gentlemen, our Senator, Janice Allen, the next Minister of Tourism.
All right, Bree. Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, friends. Good evening, comrades and colleagues here in St. James. Thank you very much, NEKEISHA, party leader, and others on the platform. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have been invited here this evening in Alan's constituency to speak about tourism. And tourism, which is so vital to just about everybody in St. James, is obviously important to talk about. But before I go into tourism, I'm going to just give a little information about a special place called St. James Central. St. James Central is really the heart of the parish. It's literally the center of St. James. From Salt Spring to Portobello by way of Sam Sharp Square and the Market District. It is home to, I believe that I might be rivaling West Central when I say that we are home to the majority of the working population in the parish. Farm Heights, Cornwall Court, Cornwall Garden, Rosemount Garden. Did I say Farm Heights? Rose Heights, Portobello, a green pond. You see, when they start calling names, people get jealous. But the truth is that the majority of those who work, whether in tourism, in the civil service, in the BPO, they're owners of small businesses, transport providers. There are so many areas that are represented in these communities. And therefore, how we treat these communities is a reflection of how we treat our people. If we expect our people to be productive, and if we expect to have a labor force that Wavell spoke about, then we have to address the needs of these communities. And this is just a snapshot of all the communities, whether it is Rose Heights, where the PNP settled people in Rose Heights. We have to make sure that if it is not water, which is such a priority today, that it is access to affordable housing, which our leader spoke about. Or it is about, with the expansion of the town, that we are ensuring that we are expanding our waste management system and our sewer system. Development is all encompassing. And we cannot measure development simply by the number of hotel rooms built. We have to measure development by how our people's lives are changed. And so the next PNP government, and I should say the incoming PNP government, is serious about ensuring that we put the people first in everything that we do to ensure a better Jamaica for all our citizens. And so, when I look at Montego Bay, which is supposed to be the tourism capital of Jamaica and by extension the region, there is much work that needs to be done. Montego Bay has close to about 10,000 hotel rooms of all types, villas, Airbnb, call it what you may, about 10,000. The industry in Montego Bay employs about 15,000 people directly. But then we also know that there are a lot of indirect employment, transportation, craft, entertainment, retail, food. And when tourism is not doing well, all of these sectors feel it. Just this week, I sat with a manufacturer who enjoyed business courtesy of the tourism industry. But because of the downturn in the industry, which many will try to say all is well. But the truth is, you know, you feel it. And just like that manufacturer who has had to transform or change his business model because the business that was being generated as a result of tourism has taken such a dramatic turn. We are for development. The People's National Party has proven over and over that we are for development. But it's what kind of development? So within the tourism industry, it was us, the PNP, we were the ones who expanded the industry by attracting foreign direct investments, and that is how we have seen the expansion of the all-inclusive model. But today, we now have a lopsided industry. We have a lopsided industry that has caused many other businesses to fail. Many of us Montegonians remember restaurants like Blue Dolphin, what's it? Blue Dolphin, Dolphin Grill. They had one right here, so next door. They had Brigadoon down the road. We all remember Townhouse in the town. All of these have dried up and died because the EP, the European plan model of hotels, have not developed as fast as or equivalent to the all-inclusive. So entertainment has failed or has declined. Eating establishments. I mean, Montego Bay, a tourism capital that goes to sleep by 9 o'clock at night. There's not much to do. And if the people, if we are building as a society, entertainment is crucial to that. Social lives is important. And that is how we are going to attract the young people when they get their education. If they don't have something exciting to come back to, they may not see Montego Bay as an option. So we have to invest in that model that will allow us to further expand the supporting services so that more Jamaicans can feel the tourism dollar. And therefore, it is our commitment that when we form government, we will incentivize the investment in EP hotels so that we can rebuild and revitalize the tourism towns across Jamaica. Within tourism, and again, the trailblazers that the PNP has always been, we formulated and instituted the Tourism Enhancement Fund. And as the name says, Tourism Enhancement Fund. The funds collected by this system are supposed to go right back into the very towns that generate the money. Today, we are not seeing the reinvestment in the towns. It is a shame that you cannot, in any part of the city, find a public restroom. You cannot walk uninterrupted on any sidewalk in this town. And I know it happens in other tourism towns. So when you say that you are boasting millions and millions earned each year by tourism, we are not feeling it. And it is time we feel it. The time has come for us to, just like we are going to we're going to change and put back NHT to what it's supposed to be. We're going to put back Tourism Enhancement Fund to what it is supposed to be. When we form government, we will do it. You know, as I speak about development within tourism in general, I want to just make note of some real issues in our city, which I'm using this as an example because at the end of the day, this is where I will be representing as the Member of Parliament. So, the truth is, development is important. And there has been development around the center of the town. When we look inside the center of the town, it is decaying. And we have to revitalize our city. Because when our people feel like they live somewhere that is progressive, they won't want to leave. Productivity will increase. It sounds simplistic, but the truth is, we have to encourage investment, especially Jamaican investors in Jamaica. And therefore, for those Jamaicans who I see who have been investing their hard-earned dollar into Jamaica, I mean, the other day I walked on Church Street. I walk plenty, you know, party lead. I walk in the town plenty. When I am on Church Street the other day, I saw a gentleman doing some construction. He's a Jamaican who is connected to business and has business in the United States. And today he bought a building on Church Street that he's renovating. He's connected to Eastern Hanover. He's renovating in Montego Bay. And that is an expression of confidence our Jamaican people need to see in other Jamaicans investing in the town. There are too many derelict buildings in our city that ought to be. We must use encouragement for those who are the owners, because many of them are overseas and have left their buildings unattended, and that is leading to the downgrade of our city. We have to first encourage them, incentivize them to invest in it, or if needs be, we have to use legislation to acquire some of them because they are leading to the deterioration of the city. And we cannot just leave it like that. And so, whether it is the investment of the tourism dollar in the town or legislation that is going to support us, we must encourage the local development and investment in our town. I see it on Union Street. I see it on Market Street. I see it on Church Street, on East Street. Let us revitalize the city because the city is ours. It is ours and we must develop it for our people. My vision for this city is that places like Canterbury, King Street, Hart Street, Barracks Road can boast both residential and commercial development. My vision for this city is that my 77-year-old mother can walk the streets with ease. My vision for this city is that the children coming from Mobe, Infant and Barracks Road, walking home or getting to wherever, that not because the rain just fell 5 minutes ago that they must be hampered by flooding streets. My vision for this city is that we have a modern, fit-for-purpose transport center so that if wherever you are going, they will have a decent place to access public transportation. If you don't have a vision, you don't know where you're going, you don't know what to do when you get there. So that is my vision. With regard to tourism, I've already mentioned that we will ensure that TEF operates as it should. The truth is that there are challenges. Last year, when the travel advisory was issued by the United States, and I pointed it out in the Senate, people attempted to rubbish what I was saying, that it would have had an impact. You are my witness. Unfortunately, the truth is that it has impacted our industry. I am pleased to see that it has been downgraded, and I hope it remains that way and continue to improve, because nobody here from the PNP is going to celebrate any downfall of any industry. We will point out where there are issues, but we are not going to celebrate when it's not going well. It's not in our interest to celebrate that. We are good-minded people. That's the new hot thing, you know, good-minded people. I have heard NEKEISHA spoken about Flagstaff and the potential in South St. James for heritage and cultural tourism and Catadupa. I have heard Rochelle speak of agriculture in East Central St. James and the opportunities there are for partnerships with tourism. The next PNP administration will ensure that we invest in these areas of tourism, because when South does well, when East Central does well, when the people do well, you build thriving communities. We must build new attractions in tourism. That is what the Tourism Enhancement Fund is for, and we are committed to that. There's a particular area in the industry, a sector that has cried out, especially in recent times. The transport sector. When we attract investors, we must be strong enough to insist what you are investing in. Stay in your lane. Because it cannot be that you have carte blanche. If you're here to operate a hotel, you operate a hotel. It should not be that the businesses that can and should be operated and have operated for many years by Jamaicans, suddenly our Jamaican transport providers are being squeezed out of the industry. It can't work. It cannot work, and we have already committed to protecting those areas, because just like access to beaches, we are serious about access to business opportunities for our people in the tourism industry. The incoming PNP government, I'm promising you, we will deliver on that. The party leader already spoke about healthcare, but I want to point out something. Healthcare within tourism, if we fix our healthcare system for our people, our tourists will benefit. I've always said, fix Jamaica for Jamaicans, and those who come will enjoy it. We won't have hand to count. Our healthcare system, particularly here in Montego Bay with Cornwall Regional Hospital, it has been said already, but I say it again. It is it's an atrocity. 8 years, and still there are so many issues that today people are dealing with, those who work there, those who go there for service. If anybody in here feels sick, I know the last place you think of going is Cornwall Regional, when it should be the first. Right now, I heard on the news the talk about an air condition malfunction that is impacting on the delivery of clinical service, clinic. And this is something, according to those who are in charge, have spoken about, who have said that they know it happens every year around this time. Well, if it happens every year around this time, what you're doing about it? It has now impacted service delivery. There is an X-ray machine. The X-ray machine went down about a year and change ago. This is when everybody needs it. Cancer patients need it for CAT scans. Everybody needs it. People have had to be going private, paying upwards of $60,000, $80,000 for something that they should not be paying for. And it came back, they bought a new one. After 1 year, it was finally in commission, and it went back down again. We have maintenance and servicing of our health service, our health sector is crucial to taking care of our people. If we don't take care of our people, how we must ask our people to be productive? In fact, everything that we do must be geared towards building our productivity. And I'm wrapping up, Party Leader. I see you're watching the time because you have to go back to Kingston. We have to ensure that we, you know, this Party Leader of mine, if you, let us take care of our people, right? I will close by just saying this. We are at a most crucial time in our country. We are about to face a very serious decision about the way forward for our beloved country. Now is not the time to sit back and say, make them go on. The time is now for leadership that you can depend on. The time is now for integrity because it matters. The time is now to put the people at the center of every decision that we make. The time is now for the People's National Party to be the next government of this country. The time is now for me to serve you as a Barnaby. As a Barnaby, to serve you in the city of my birth. I look forward to being your member of parliament. Thank you.
She said she born under the clock. She Barnaby, you have to give us Senator Janice Allen. Man, this girl is on fire. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if between our General Secretary or the next speaker who take the most lick for this politics. But them back broad. Yes, they speak truth to power. This man no afraid of no boy, no girl, no day, nowhere. Because he comes with his receipts. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Peter Bunting.
Thank you. Fellow panelists, distinguished guests, comrades and friends, good evening. You know, as someone who recognizes that all politics is local, I didn't mind giving up half of my time to Janice so she could speak to our people. And to continue NEKEISHA's cricketing analogy, there are sufficient runs on the board that we could declare right now. But since I'm not the captain of the team, I've been sent in to give our tail enders innings. But just very quickly, I've been asked to speak on the issue of national security, and I just want to do two things. The first, I want to review the Andrew Holness regime's track record in national security. And then secondly, I want to speak to how we would do things differently. So first, this GLP government is suddenly claiming that one of their successes is the reduction in murders for the last few months. Now, we're all very happy and welcome these reduction in murders. But it has absolutely nothing to do with the JLP regime. It is in spite of the JLP regime. And let me just do a quick review of what happened when the government changed in 2016 and these people came to office. The first thing they did was introduce a most idiotic policy. They suddenly decided that police didn't deserve new cars, new vehicles anymore. And they were the only government in the entire world that decided they were going to purchase junk vehicles for the police. Well, when they stated it, we predicted it would be a fiasco. And it turned out to be even worse than we had imagined. And cut a long story short, up to today, the used vehicles haven't been delivered and cannot be found. Although all have been paid for. And the few that did arrive, some of them could barely make it off the wharf before them broke down. I remember it was embarrassing to see some of the police officers trying to be professionals driving around these old wrecks. So what happened? Vehicles are a force multiplier for the police. And by year 2, there were so few operational vehicles in the police force that the murder rate skyrocketed. It continued for the next 8 years. It was so bad that Andrew Holness now has the record of being the prime minister who's in his 2 terms, more Jamaicans have been murdered than under any other 2 terms under any other prime minister. For many years, they persisted with this policy, this failed policy of state of emergency, which all it was doing was violating the rights of the people. When they scraped up almost 2,000 young Muslim men in St. James, what was the consequences? Many lost their jobs. Many were stigmatized. Many were set back. The pan chicken man had to pack up by 6 o'clock, but KFC could run till midnight or 2 a.m. All that policy of oppression was doing was putting more pressure on the average Jamaican. There was no reduction in murder anywhere. In fact, there was a 25% increase in the entire Jamaica, year after year. Yes, temporarily in a particular area or community, Alan, where there was a surge of security forces, you would find a decline temporarily. But there was something called the balloon effect. So after states of emergency in St. James, then you found murders going up in Hanover, in Westmoreland, in Trelawney. The opposition called out this practice and said it's not only unconstitutional, but is ineffective. And today, we stand here before you, vindicated by the full Constitutional Court of Jamaica. Who in their ruling handed down a couple of weeks ago, not only confirmed what we have been saying, but it showed they found it was not only unconstitutional, but it was ineffective. These are people, these are judges, skilled, trained, and experienced in weighing evidence. And the evidence presented to them did not support the argument that it worked in reducing murders overall. So we became more and more militant in our objection. We stopped supporting the extensions in the Senate. We took them to the Constitutional Court. Others also took them to the Constitutional Court. And taxpayers will now be burdened to pay tens of millions of dollars in restitution to those who were deprived of their liberty illegally. In the last 2 years, and in particular, in the last 5 months, we have seen welcome declines. And that is because there have been no inefficient states of emergency used in Jamaica. The professional police officers can focus on what they know to do to bring down crime instead of manning these checkpoints, which not catching anybody. Checkpoints that just blocking up traffic when you're coming into Mobile, whether from St. Elizabeth, from Westmoreland, from Hanover, from Trelawney. All it was doing was create traffic jams and frustrating people. So they created the conditions why the murders spiked. They created the conditions why police couldn't get to do their jobs. And so we commend this commissioner and his team who have not wasted time talking about give us state of emergency, but focused on the spearfishing approach, which we have always advocated, rather than the net fishing approach, which only violates Jamaicans, ordinary Jamaicans' rights. We reject the idea that to be strong against crime, you have to give up people's rights. We believe you can be strong against crime and strong for our human rights guaranteed under the Constitution, under the Charter of Rights. And the best evidence of that is what is happening since we have abandoned those wasteful states of emergency. I know the only thing that I saw that came out of it, it gave the Prime Minister the opportunity to every month jump up at a press conference looking like a wannabe petty tyrant with his generals flanking him and joyfully announcing that he was removing the rights of the population in St. James or Hanover or Westmoreland. That's all that was achieved. Him, what the young people call cosplaying. You know when they dress up in costumes like, here I am, the petty tyrant with my generals around me. So that is what has happened, and that is why we give this GLP regime no credit for any reductions which have taken place recently. And the track record of the Prime Minister and his regime is that more Jamaicans have been murdered during their 2 terms than any other 2 terms in Jamaica. So let me turn quickly now to what we would do different. We have always maintained that crime control measures must be balanced with crime prevention measures. And what are those crime prevention measures? At its core, it is investing in communities and in people. Investing in communities and its people. Social investment. That's something we advocated for when we were in office before. This administration abandoned it completely. We will be returning, and we have seen the private sector on their own because the government completely defunded social interventions and social investment. So the Project STAR has been a successful project, but very limited in scale and scope. We will come back and put government funding behind these things. We will ensure that in some of the communities where the environment is what the criminologists, I believe, would describe as criminogenic. It's an environment that is conducive to producing at-risk youth who are vulnerable to recruitment by gangs. We know we have to go in and we have to invest in better housing stock, better road infrastructure, better schools. We have to have remedial training and employment opportunities for the young people in these communities so they have very real options. That is an approach that puts people at the center of our development efforts. That is an approach. That is an approach that someone like Alan Bernard has spent a great deal of his life championing, and I want to big him up for that because we work together. Because we worked together when I was at the Ministry of National Security, and I know he's a youth who genuinely believes in empowering people to get them out of the situations they are in. Not just scraping them up wholesale and locking them away. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close here. I think you've had a meal, a full meal, a many-course meal. And now I think I'll hand it back to the moderator, who is going to turn it over to the most important section for the evening, and that is your time. Thank you.
Senator Bunting want to take my job. A round of applause for unafraid, fearless Peter Bunting. All right, so this is the juicy segment, yes? I'm going to invite you, there's a microphone right here. If you have a question, one, or a recommendation that you want to put to the panelists, I invite you to come to the microphone. Because so many of us are here, I'm going to ask you to make sure you give us your burning question or your burning recommendation and try to keep it brief so we can hear from others. All right, we recognize Mr. Rowe. Oh, we're asking 0272 KJ Voxy. You're blocking someone who needs to leave outside. Please attend to your vehicle.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Before I make my point, let me acknowledge Comrade Bunting. He and Keynote were the two best national security ministers. I was in the force, so I know it. And I noticed that all the main spokesperson in the party are being targeted by the government. Dr. Campbell, Dr. Alfred Dawes, you name them. That's what they go about. Intimidating and threatening them with lawsuit and all kind of rubbish. Now, Mr. President, what Mr. Bunting said, the social intervention.
All right, let's give Mr. Rowe a chance.
The government remove the CSJP. I train with them. Remove the National Parenting Support Commission. I train with them. They remove the Peace Management Initiative. All of these things are a combination that will help to transform the poorer class of people in this country. Now, I'm a Maroon. And all the people inside here are Maroons. We're not wilder and tame, as the neo-colonialists they had said. All black people are Maroons. And I'm inviting every black people inside here, tell your partner, tell your family that they are Maroon, and they must vote for President Golden's speech in Parliament, where he makes special mention about the Maroons and the Rasta. That is important. And Mr. President, if proper arrangement can be made, I am willing to travel all the areas to alert the people of who we are. Because in closing, one clause in the 13th class treaty of the Maroon state that Captain Kojo and his men and adherents shall cut clear and keep open large and convenient road to St. James, to Westmoreland, to Hanover, to Trelawney, to St. Elizabeth, and if possible, to Clarendon. So the people are Maroons. Mr. Patterson and Miss Portia Simpson, the royal queen, they told me when I was colonel that they believe they have Maroon blood in them. And Mr. Patterson was my guest speaker in 1995. 1997, he came back to a compound with President Jerry Rawlings. And so we have a situation where the black people were conned and fooled by the system. By the system. So all these poor people, all these black people here, they are Maroons. And don't let them tell you nonsense about Wavell anthem. Rubbish. It's a political propaganda like what is happening now in the Jamaica cabinet. Propaganda. I have much more to say, but when this queen here start our meetings and the other one there, my vote is in her constituency, you know. And them have to win and they must win. That's it.
Thank you. That's the voice of the Maroons. Next question.
Good evening, panelists. Lance Cunningham is the name. I'm from the Tarada Heights community, a resident of Tarada Heights. And if you should traverse my community, you will be surprised at the deplorable conditions of the roads. Within this room, I see a number of people from the Coral Gardens and the Iron Shore community. Those community I have to pass through to go to my community. And they can also attest that the roads are very deplorable in those communities as well. And if you go to other communities, there are a set of co-workers here with me who lives in Portobello, Cornwall Courts, Westgate Hills, and by extension, all other communities within St. James and the Montego Bay environs. And they can attest to you that these roads are in deplorable conditions. And so, for over 20 years and beyond, none of these roads has been addressed by, by government. Therefore, I am asking the next PNP government what their plans are going to be to deal with the road network, not just in my community, but across the entire Jamaica, since we face with this problem.
Well, thank you. And the situation that you have described is true of many, many parts of Jamaica all over. And I've been traveling across the length and breadth of Jamaica and see and experience firsthand, and my front end even more in my vehicle, the effects of the terrible road conditions of which you speak. We have, as a country, over the last 30 years maybe, have focused a lot of resources and attention on building major highways to connect major towns. And those investments have been important. We have the North Coast Highway, we have the Southern Coastal Highway now, which is incomplete. We have the toll roads, the major toll roads, Highway 2000 and the North-South Link. But what we have not done is put any kind of program in place, certainly in the last 10 years, to deal with the roads that the people of Jamaica have to drive on every day. And I'm talking about scheme roads, community roads, and generally roads that are not off the beaten, that are not the major highways along the coast in particular. And we had the Road Maintenance Fund, which was established by the PNP to try and address this problem by ensuring that there were resources which funded out of traffic tickets and licensing of motor vehicles to support the maintenance of the road network. That has been put to an end. The JLP government brought it to a close, and they didn't put anything in its place. And so the road network has been steadily deteriorating, and it's probably at the worst that it has ever been. With the election coming, they've tried to reach and they've tried to spark, but neither of them are sufficient programs to address the accumulated scale of the problem of bad roads in the country. We are committed to an ongoing allocation of resources for preventive maintenance and rehabilitation of roads, so that we ensure that the network is not neglected. It will take some time to restore it to the condition that the people deserve, but by focusing on road maintenance on an ongoing basis in a very serious way, we intend to address the problem. We will also be working with the places of learning, UTech and other facilities, to bring in the young engineers and have them help to ensure that the projects of road maintenance are properly designed, properly executed as well. And we see the need to empower our local government authorities so that they can look after the roads that they have responsibility for. So it is a big problem that you've described, and I'm not saying that there's any easy fix to fix it overnight, but it requires a proper policy of prioritizing the roads on which people drive every day to get home and to get to work or to get wherever they need to go, and ensuring that those resources are put in place so that in the medium term we will see a significant improvement in the quality of our roads, and also eliminating some of the corruption from the way in which road projects have been executed, where we are seeing materials are not being used as they should. They're skimping around so that, and roads have to be redone shortly after they have been fixed and so on. There's a lot of scamming in that system. We need to cut it out. We need to take the medium to long-term view and fix things properly and ensure that quality assurance is part of the process of managing the maintenance of the network. That's it.
Next question.
Good night, comrades. I am Pingskew Green. I am from the parish of St. James. This government has put out the narrative that crime is going down, and at the same time, our people are more scared of our security forces more than ever in the history of this Jamaica. I would like to know, what will the PNP do in regards to changing this narrative of having our young people especially and the population of this country being afraid of our security forces?
Thank you. Do I just answer from here? What our position is that the police, or let me put it this way, long-term success in policing requires the trust and confidence and support of the citizenry. We are for police accountability, which is why we piloted the body-worn cameras 10 years ago, and we are really disappointed that 10 years later, after the first pilot of body-worn cameras done by our administration, we have still not seen that widely adopted. And body-worn cameras, yes, it improves police accountability, but it also protects professional police persons because they will have the evidence to show that they acted in accordance with the law. We're concerned about the level of police fatal shootings, but we are not in a position to make a determination. We have to rely on the Independent Commission of Investigations to tell us what are in accordance with the law and what's not in accordance. But it is an area of concern, and I believe that with improved operational planning, body-worn cameras, we can ensure that we get better accountability. Because one thing we don't want to move from one extreme to the other. We do not want to create a situation where there's impunity on the part of police. We've seen what happens when that is. All persons must operate in accordance with the law.
Thank you, Senator Bunting. And the next person at the mic is Councillor Kenroy Gordon. And I want to just recognize the other councillors present here tonight, Councillor Martin Kelly, Councillor Swaby, and Councillor Michael Allen. Go ahead, Councillor Gordon. And Councillor Kerry Thomas.
Good evening, comrades, party leader, and everybody. With respect to the labor force, some time ago, our government introduced a flexi week where you can arrange with your employer the hours in which you work. I don't think it is being utilized the way it should, because up to date, I think only the hotels actually work around the clock. Most businesses still work the regular 8 to 5, including government businesses. Can't we break the thing and do it how it's supposed to be? Can't we have government offices, government agencies working extended hours? As it is now, tax office, you have to take lunch hour to go tax office because you're at work from 8 o'clock and you only get an hour break and you take the hour to go tax office and then they bungle up and you can't get back to work. Can't the tax office work, NHT, NWC, can't they flexi week thing? Another thing that it does, it reduces the drag on the transportation sector. 6 o'clock every morning, everybody come out. And between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, you have bottleneck everywhere. And then between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the evenings, you have bottleneck everywhere. Whereas if the hours were varied, you would have had different times people coming out.
Thank you. Well made.
Thank you for the question. What I can say, in the first 100 days in office, the People's National Party will review the current work hours and of course the flexi work hours. We are aware that in some sectors it is used on the weekend to bypass the fact that they don't want to pay staff members for their time on the weekend. So we are going to be reviewing those together, and of course we will have conversations with the different sectors, the BPOs, the hotel, and of course with the government and the tax administration to see how best we could facilitate the regular citizen on the weekend and ensure that they can do their business lawfully and in a timely fashion.
There is a Land Cruiser outside, 0952HW. Please move your vehicle. Go ahead with your question.
Good evening, comrades. All right, to be honest, it is my privilege to stand here tonight to be in the presence of these lovely individuals set to lead our country. My name is Brian Campbell, and I live in the constituency of Hanover Western. However, I was born in this constituency, and I also work and do business, so I have a vested interest in this constituency. I am also privileged to have grown in a house where both parents were of either persuasion. Obviously, one for the PNP, other for the JLP. So standing before you tonight is not a diehard, rather somebody who have subscribed to this party, the ideals of this party, starting from a particular time where I saw a then finance minister debate on certain matters, who is now the party leader, Mark Golding. And also I had the privilege when I was in college, Sir Bunting will not remember, obviously, to have had breakfast with, him and, Michael Phillips and some other persons at the time. There was a forum. So what I'm speaking on today is not really a question, rather a recommendation, and I hope to set some context. And context, I'm just going to give the problem as I see it and how we feel it, and the recommendation, hopefully I can get some further guidance on that. The problem that we all feel, know, and see, we are talking about the economy. We're talking about the reality that prices are high. High-income jobs are scarce. Young people like myself, we are discouraged, and the hope of earning is quickly slipping away. And the current administration would like to sell us the idea that the economy is doing great. But I personally feel disrespected when this is being said to me, when what we all feel is a different reality. And in all humility, right, and in all humility, I would love to say this because I have been following the party's progress. We cannot face the government based on their integrity or lack thereof. Because I can tell you there are persons who will be willing to vote for someone who is corrupt, right, allegedly, but they believe they are still the best person for the job. I believe the best way to tackle this coming important election is in their golden goose, what they're selling to us, that the economy is doing well. It is not doing well. I am a teacher of mathematics, and I'm going to address one of the indicators of economic success, unemployment rate. Currently, it is said that the employment rate is at 97%, which should be something that is good. But I can tell you, brothers and sisters, this number should mean something. I'll give an analogy, I won't be long. I'm speaking to every parent here, I'm a teacher. If your child comes home with a report that says they got 97% in English, but they can't go to Sunday school and even read the Bible, don't you think something is wrong? Or if your son come home to you and say they got 97% in mathematics, but you fret for them when them take taxi because taxi man rob them blind, they don't know if make the change, don't you think something is wrong? That 97% should mean something. And if you are going to tell me, as a young person in this country, a patriot of this country, that we have 97% of the workforce contributing to taxes, and these are the roads we're driving on, these are the hospitals that we are accessing, these are the infrastructure, that what is your 97% saying? So, this is my recommendation. The economy. The aim for Vision 2030, Jamaica should be the place where Jamaicans can live, raise families, and do business. Right? And I learned that one economic approach that Jamaicans took, well, many Caribbean islands took, is industrialization by invitation. And industrialization by invitation is simply to make Jamaica accommodating to foreign investors. That is, we will give them tax breaks. We will create spaces for them to do businesses like the free zone where, it will not be as expensive for them to set up their businesses. At that time in the 1970s, it made sense. Because the Jamaican people at that time weren't as skilled and did not have enough access to the capital that was needed in order to be the drivers of this industrialization. But my people, President, fellow MPs, that reality is no longer the case. Jamaicans have come a very far way. We now have Jamaicans who have the tact and the know-how in order to manage businesses that we are able to take on the global stage and serve our own people, and also address the import and export deficit. So this is the recommendation. Some of the benefits that overseas investors would have gotten, why not consider giving it to our local investors? Why not consider then some tax breaks potentially for our local investors, but also bringing in heavy machinery in order to upscale and upskill our own industries in Jamaica completely duty-free, so that we would be able to actually compete locally and improve skills right across the country. So my recommendation, as I said, I'm sorry for the time that I have been taking, but my recommendation is show Jamaicans that the economy that you will inherit is going to be the best economy for Jamaicans to do business and raise families.
Teach, teacher, teach. And can you imagine, the government don't want to give them no big increase in them wage, but give themselves up to 300%. Next question.
Good night, everyone. Good night, everyone, and a special good night to the panelists / candidates. My question is really directed to Mr. Alan Bernard. I am from the community of Norwood, and is anybody in here from Norwood, by the way? All right, so if you know Norwood, you know that Norwood is plagued with the problem of water. We have very irregular water supply, right? And the community of Norwood falls within the constituency of Dr. Horace Chang. Chang has been at the helm from almost quarter century now, from 2002. He was once the Minister of Water and Housing in the Bruce Golden-led cabinet. But basically, to make a long story short, my question is, Mr. Bernard, what are your plans to address the problem of water within the community of Norwood and other communities within Northwest St. James?
Thank you very much. Let me speak to the community of Norwood. And we have a spokesperson, Water, and I think I will pass it on so he can speak to the broader issue of the country. But the party leaders
Put the
here
mic to your
and others
mouth.
are here that can assist. As it relates to Norwood, we have been having conversations about the water. And there are three things.
Put the mic to your mouth.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that mic wasn't working. Right, so there are three things that we've been having discussion on. But let me put something in context first and foremost. When I get calls from the community about water, they'll often ask for a truck of water. And then I'll have a conversation with them about how far a truck of water can go. Usually, a truck of water causes more problems than anything else in terms of how it is distributed. So we have a conversation about how do we provide advocacy around the water issues in particular areas of Norwood. And so, as you rightly said, we have a member of parliament now for almost quarter of a century. A member of parliament that was once, that had portfolio responsibility for water. And nothing has been done to address the issue. If it's an engineering issue, this is 2025. It's not difficult to find an engineering solution. If it's a resource issue, it's not difficult. If I was the member of parliament for Northwest, anybody who is Minister of Water in my administration would tired to see my face. Every single day, I would be at that minister's door. Almost 25 years, nothing. If it's a resource constraint, if it's an engineering constraint, we can fix it. I have spoken to persons from the Water Commission. Again, it's not easy to speak to persons from any ministries, agencies, or departments when you're not an elected representative. Notwithstanding, I've gotten word from them. They themselves have said to me that they can take some responsibility or shoulder some of the responsibility. And in the event that this culpability is theirs, they can provide temporary relief. However, it is those elected representatives they ask to engage them to bring this temporary relief. They are not doing so. They are not doing so. And so in our conversations with the community of Norwood, we are looking to bring greater advocacy around how do we force the hands of these current elected representatives to act. Do we force the hands of these current elected representatives to act? To bring along next People's National Party government. As our future Prime Minister said, we will be revisiting a program that will address the needs of many of these Operation Pride housing schemes that were incomplete. One of such is in the Norwood community.
Thank you. Next question.
Good night, comrades. Good night. I don't like that. Good night, comrades.
Good night.
Let me pause a little bit to acknowledge our incoming Prime Minister and of course, members of his incoming cabinet. All right, so I really came here tonight to ask two questions. But the councillor prior...
All right, quiet in the room, quiet in the room. Adjust the mic towards your mouth.
I came here tonight to ask two questions, but the councillor prior, I think, delve a little bit into one of them.
Okay, so ask the other. Thank you.
All right, so what I really want to know, the sports industry globally is a $1.4 trillion industry. Now, Jamaica would have produced some of the finest and some of the best athletes, and we still have a lot of potential athletes coming up. I want to know what is the next PNP or PNP's administration is going to do to tap into that $1.4 trillion industry.
Mr. Hinds?
Thank you. And of course, you're speaking about an item that is very near and dear to my heart. Well, the next PNP government will certainly be looking at sports in a wholesome fashion, from the grassroots straight to the elite. We'll be looking at the sporting infrastructure or assets. So I would have been in Montego Bay to visit Jared Park that needs resurfacing. I went to the Catherine Hall that the track needs resurfacing, that they can't even have Western champs in the western side of the island. They have to go to GC Foster. That's a travesty, and that's a shame on the government as it is now. We have the Trelawney Multipurpose Stadium, which we envision to do a little bit more with in terms of a museum and all those things, since we are on the western belt and the tourism is there. And certainly be looking to do training with the University of Technology, the University of the West Indies, GC Foster College, in trying to make sure that we have the academia aligned with us so that we can get the scientific research done to enable our athletes. Sports is a multifaceted industry. So while we know about the athletes on the court and on the track and on the field, we know about the coaches, the physiotherapists, the analysts, the data analysts, and so the spill-offs are there. We also will engage ourselves in sector linkages. So the peace initiative that Comrade Bunting would have spoken about earlier, and Comrade Bernard, we will be certainly doing partnerships with the Ministry of National Security to ensure that we can tap into that, get our youths to be using their energies in a right and positive direction. We'll be speaking to Dr. Dawes about the health, community health and safety, of using sports to make sure that we can do away with lifestyle diseases and to get students and young people in the communities active.
We'll be speaking with the Ministry of Industry and Commerce to engage ourselves with private investors so that this government would have caused the Jamaica Talawas to be no more. There's no Jamaica Talawas with cricket because the government did not invest in it. And I'm sure Comrade Mark Golden and us will be looking to speak to other private cricket investors to bring back a franchise in our country because we are renowned for cricketers. We had Chris Gale, we now have Andre Russell and Ravman Powell, Stephanie Taylor. There's a lot more to speak of. So we'll be doing sector linkages and we'll be doing sports in a wholesome fashion. And hopefully, one day sports can be a standalone ministry so that we can have a permanent secretary and a budget to move our thing forward. So it will be properly ventilated, and don't worry, sports will get its rightful place in our society. Thank you.
You see how refreshing it is to have a future minister of sports who don't only turn up for the photo ops, but he knows his industry. Next question.
Hello, good night. So my name is Colleen. I actually have a couple questions and recommendations. Hello, good night. Hear me now? Yes. Yes. My name is Colleen, and I actually have questions and recommendations for everybody on the panel.
Give us the top one.
The top one?
Yes.
All right. So my first question goes for the future Prime Minister, the incoming Prime Minister. So you had spoken about Cornwall Regional Hospital and it being an A-type hospital. So for me having certain medical issues, I wasn't necessarily able to access certain treatment outside of Cornwall Regional Hospital, meaning that I have to go to that hospital to get what I needed to get done, right? But in an essence, when I go there, or the experience that I have, it's like the doctor that's there, I go have to wait 3 hours, then I wait a 3 hour, then he has to go back on the ward, then I have to wait another set of time again for him to come back to me to actually assist me because there's not enough persons there working to assist. I also see that Christopher Tufton, he's saying women are not having enough babies, but what infrastructure is going to be put in place to say, yes, women, it's easier for women to have children, the experience will be easier for women, and so instead of just having babies, because he's not going to help women to take care of all of these babies that they're supposed to have. So that's the first question, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Comrade Leader.
Well, we know that the Cornwall regional situation is a real debacle. An atrocity, I think, was the word used. And the level of service there currently is unsatisfactory and inadequate because the facility in which they're operating is itself, not what it should be because the hospital is under major renovation and has been for many years. So until that is resolved, the people of this part of Jamaica are going to continue to suffer from having a public hospital that is operating very suboptimally. And we need to get that project under control and get it finished so that the hospital can be opened and provide the services that the people need. I agree with you that to be encouraging people to have more children when the health system in support of mothers, prenatal and antenatal and postnatal care and support is inadequate. There's really no basis for asking people to put themselves and their future infant at risk and in that kind of situation. And in fact, Mr. Bunting and I were having a discussion about that just before this, where he was saying that when we see the reduced number of students that are available to take up spaces in schools, and we ask, why is this happening? Women who have had very negative experiences in terms of childbearing and their interface with the health system are saying, well, why should I expose myself to those risks again? And that's logical. So until the services, the social investments and infrastructural investments are made in ways that deliver full bang for the buck instead of ripping off parts of public resources to friend and company benefit and so on, but all of the resources that are available are spent on what they're intended to be spent on and are spent wisely and with proper policy frameworks to support it, we're not going to see an improvement in the kind of care and attention that the average Jamaican, the everyday Jamaican who can't afford a bag of money to go private is going to have to put up with in the public health system.
All right, thank you for your question. I'm going to invite you to come to the side. I'll have you pose your question after to the relevant person. Please step up to the mic with your question. Rastaman.
Night. Madam Burchell. I can see that you is a Portia Simpson order. Yeah. Anyway, big up to all of the comrades them, the females them, and the man them, and the warrior them. I want to tell the man them, yo, let me tell you something. I want to stand up for the woman them too, you know. You understand me meaning? Some little things are going in this country what I don't like. You understand me? A man supposed to know say, you see a woman and your mother know your father. You see your father is a stepper or is an intelligent critic. So, know your father. Some little thing are going on in this country where I don't like. The young girls them get raped off and the boys them and all these things. These things supposed to stop. And you see when the president step in at the White House as me excuse, sorry about that. I didn't think they are America, but I never travel America yet. But big up Mr. and the president of Jamaica, Mark Golden, the junglist. Say nothing no miss. Real order. And big up Mr. Bunting over there, sir. Janice Allen.
Wavell
Hinds. Wavell Hinds.
And everyone else.
Don't tell me about Wavell Hinds, man. One of the best. And you see you now, NEKEISHA. You see you now. Miss BURCHELL, I know your father. I know your father. In the industrial arts of furniture. See? And I'm saying, when you get to office,
yes.
President Janice, and over there is a security minister. Okay? I must say, big up my warriors them. Who on the outskirt and the rest of people there.
Big up yourself,
I'm saying
a round
now.
of applause
I'm
for
talking now. Good night.
Comrade.
No, just relax. Yourself. I'm talking. I'm talking on the behalf of my party, the People's National Party. I'm going to join this like yesterday. May I come from this, from North Star. May I come from this, from Joshua, Michael Manley.
That's right.
And Joshua, Michael Manley.
That's right.
And this big up,
Respect, but give people a chance.
big up
a long
that
line behind you.
You're going to
Long
get a
line
chance,
behind
man.
you.
You're going to get a chance.
Long line behind you.
No, I'm saying.
Give
to
us 30 seconds.
Relax. To my leader and my prime minister that coming in, I'm saying.
Yes.
I'm saying no.
Yes.
My leader Go on, mate. Listen, now, sir. I don't want just this. Don't disturb me. Mr. Bunting, office, we want to deal with the thing intelligently. Right, sir? Listen, just calm down, no man. We know it's a rush down. No, we have warriors out here, right? We have to use your.
Person to the microphone with your question.
Good evening, everyone.
Come on, the word is love. The word is love. Let us recognize our sister at the mic with her question.
Good evening, everyone.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I would like to commend my party on that. All right.
If you came on the, I have an announcement. I have an announcement. Comrades, friends, if you came on the Salt Spring bus, it is ready to leave, so please make your way to your bus. We thank Rasta for his question. Go ahead, or Empress.
All right. Yes, as I was saying, I would like to commend you, party leader, and all of the comrades.
Settle down, settle down.
For stepping out and representing all of us that were not able to be in Kingston. Because there are a lot of pressing issues and a lot of things happening in the country right now.
One moment. Could you please turn the microphone, the volume up, Mr. Engineer? Go ahead, sister.
Heard me much better? Yes, I was, first I acknowledge the panel and I'm commending the party leader for standing up and being our voice. Bringing the people out on the street, and then people are saying we not joke about this. This is rescuing. I've been saying this. Janice can attest to this. When I do my walk, I always say we are rescuing Jamaica. And for you to put that there, that shows me, But my thing is this, comrade leader, what I want you to talk to the young people about tonight, and also some elderly people, because it's like some people don't remember where we're coming from and where we're trying to go. When we go out on the road, they're talking, well, yeah, forgive me. We need something, we need money, we need this, we need that. That's something I want you to address, to talk to them, let them know themselves that we're fighting for not just money, we're fighting for our country. All right? So I want you to talk about that for me, party.
Thank you. Let's take the next question and he'll answer them both together.
Further comrades, good night.
Good night.
Madam Queen of the South and next Prime Minister to be, greetings. I have a question to ask. Recently, I overheard the commissioner saying that those guys who police stopped on the street went to their phones and extracted information from them. It is illegal, which we already know. I'm addressing it as a luminaire, legal luminaire. Just 2 days ago, a young man from the United States came down to bury his grandmother. And the police stopped him in the Springmount Marathon area, took away his phone, took away his bank cards, which are US, and asked him how he had so much money on him, both US and Jamaican, not realizing that he's a US citizen. They took him down to the station and harassed him. Then when they realized what was happening, they apologized to him. I don't think that is right. Something has to be done about that. Another thing, there are several accounted cases in Jamaica where cases have been adjourned signed for 30 years, 20 years onwards. I do think I make a recommendation that when you do form the next government, there should be a statute of limitations on this. What do you think about this matter? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
On the last point, just quickly, When cases have been adjourned, sine die, but have not been formally dismissed, they remain as pending, potentially pending cases. And to get that removed, you have to have a lawyer come and apply to have the case re-mentioned in court so that it can be formally dismissed. And I think that that is a waste of time, quite frankly. We ought to have a system where if a case has been adjourned for beyond a certain period of time, the case is at an end. It shouldn't have to have any further procedure in court to end the case. And that, I agree with you on that. And that can be done by legislation.
All right, next question.
Good night, comrades. Something ever happened to you where you didn't pay any attention until it happened to one of your own persons or family member? Well, downtown, you have the manholes with the covering, where the children step on it and adults. Now, my cousin was walking along and stepped in one of them. We made a report with the doctor's certificate and everything, submitted it to the parish council. They said it was not their road. So I went to the NWA. The insurance refused it, said it was not their road. We went to NWA. They sent somebody to investigate and said, no, it's a parish council road. Now we sent it back to the parish council and they said, no, if they were doing work, then it would be their responsibility. But what happened was the manhole, it opened up, and then when she stepped in there, by the next day somebody closed it back. So now they're refusing, and I get to find out that there are a lot of cases. But because we are poor, we don't have the resources to follow up these things. A lot of us are being taken advantage of, where we cannot get any justice for that. Because my cousin is actually diabetic also. So her foot, it's taking some time to heal, and it's preventing her from going to work. Right? So these issues are not being addressed. So I don't know who can speak on that.
What I would say is this. I heard the Justice Minister speak yesterday in the sectoral debate in the House of Representatives. And after 10 years, I was very disappointed that he hadn't announced that the legal aid system will be extended to certain types of civil matters and not just criminal matters. Because there ought to be a civil matter aspect to legal aid, especially in personal injury matters like the ones you referred to, but also in other cases, for example, in relation to dead-left matters and so on, where people who can't afford an attorney can get legal advice and legal representation subsidized by the legal aid system. And that is something that we are committed to doing, so that we can expand legal aid to ensure that people's basic rights are protected and they have access to legal services for that. So in a situation like this one where you're getting the runaround and there's been an injury, you sue both. You know, you sue both, and the court can decide who's responsible. It's not for you to be trying to find that out. You sue both of them in the same proceedings, but you need a legal support to do that because you can't afford an attorney. And, you know, so that is why it's important that the legal aid system be expanded to cover civil and constitutional rights and not just criminal matters.
And our sister is saying she wants a response to her question about what she should say to those who are asking for vote buying.
Well, the messaging that we deliver to the people must resonate with them as being relevant to the Jamaica that they see and the problems that they face, so that they see that it is in their interest to give us their vote, because we are going to build a Jamaica that is responsive to their needs and gives them hope for a better future. And if we don't do that, then it's just a hustle. And none of us are in this for the hustle. We are in this for nation building. And it's for our policies and programs and our communication of those things to persuade people that it is worth putting short-term little things like a $5,000, whatever it may be, aside and supporting something that might bring civil action for being covered by legal aid. So if you get an injury, your rights are protected. You know, that will give us beach access. That will ensure that the schools are delivering quality education and that healthcare and hospitals are properly managed and maintained so that the people have good healthcare. people need to understand and appreciate the importance of these big issues and the need to have government that is responding to those things so that they can elevate themselves from the little mentality about, well, let us eat a food today and that's sufficient, because it really is not sufficient.
Thank you. Please go ahead with the question.
All right, good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Amaya, and I'm a final year social work student. My question is relating to substance use among young adults, especially teenagers. I know that there's a law. There's a law about young people not being to smoke and not being solely substances, but we are in Jamaica, and these laws are not being enforced. As a final year, I've been exposed to working with the National Council on Drug Abuse, and when we ask these young people, where are you getting drugs? Why are you using drugs? They're like, I can get it at the shop. So my question to you, Mr. Upcoming Prime Minister, is what will your party do to ensure that our young people are not getting access to these substances, so it's not that prevalent so they can get access to it? Because these substances are affecting their growth, which is in turn affecting our nation.
Well, first of all, I think it's very important that public education be tailored, and the messaging around substance abuse and the risks of it be tailored to teenagers, adolescents, and those who are most at risk. And so that they can understand the importance of protecting their mind and the functioning of their brains so that they can have a better life in the future, and avoiding behaviors and substances that are going to negatively impact on that. Because I think people in Jamaica, and the youngsters now, there isn't sufficient messaging around these issues and these risks. And they just have a very cavalier attitude towards it. And they're eating the gummy bears, and they're eating the other, the other things that are a lot of these psychedelic substances, the Molly and all of that, which is not part of our culture, but is coming into the country. We need to have the National Council on Drug Abuse needs to have the necessary support financially so that they can develop the messaging around responsible behaviors amongst our young people. I think that's the most important thing that we can do to reduce the inclination of our young people to go down these pathways, which are ultimately destructive of their prospects and their lives.
We'll take our final question. I'm sorry. We're going to have to follow up with you after. Quickly.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
My name is Danisha Forbes, and I'm an entrepreneur. I just have a simple question, and I want to answer. Mr. Golden, my pleasure, sir. What I want to know is, as the next Prime Minister, what are you going to do about the exorbitant traffic tickets that are being charged to us as motorists? And I can see where tickets move from $500, $800 to now $15,000 for a ticket and $10,000. I want to know, if minimum wage is $15,000 and $16,000, where should people get money to pay for a ticket for $15,000 for parking in the wrong place? And I just want to give an example of what happened to me, because best believe I'm going to the court. I would rather give someone $50,000 for free or $100,000 than pay this ticket that I got the other day. And it's a burning issue for me, and I'm here tonight, and I believe that these ticket prices that they're raping us through this system, might as well they just say tax increase, because this is just a way to scapegoat that it's a new tax. There's no way we can be paying tickets for $10,000, $15,000. And these policemen are there lying too. See, there was a traffic on the road at Westgate on our way to when you pass Vista Print there, because I live in the Meadows of Irwin community. So I recognized that I saw the police siren, flashing, because there was a heavy traffic coming all the way from Barnett Street going up. So I said, okay, I want to see what the accident is. So after passing Vista Print, I said, let me just peep over. So I was in the line. Remember, now, the traffic is caught bumper to bumper. You can't even move 10 miles. So I decided this is my lane. I just slightly do this. Not even halfway, quarter. I just wanted to peek, to see, just be nosy, of course, who met in an accident, because I saw a truck. So of course I saw the police there, but it was too dark, so I could not see. So I said, let me just come back in, full way until. So it's about 3 to 6 cars in front of me. By the time I got there, the policeman pulled me over. Ma'am, I'm going to charge you for undertaking. I said, excuse me, sir? I am a decent, law-abiding citizen. You believe that I am mad to be driving on the opposite side, overtaking a whole line of traffic I cannot see in the dark? I just wanted to look. Where you got? He said I came halfway out. I was about to undertake, but because I saw him, I didn't bother to. So he wrote me up for $15,000 because I was about to undertake. And I'm not undertaking. Why should I pay $15,000? I am sure I'm not the only person with these issues who want the ticket prices reduced.
I think she needs a lawyer. Mr. Golding, he's the lawyer amongst us.
I want the prices reduced.
That was a very expensive attempt to undertake. Anyway, I do think that the traffic tickets need to be reviewed in terms of the level of fines. I think the new Road Traffic Act has been brought into effect for a year or so now, yeah. And it's an opportune time to look back at it. It's a very long list of different offenses. And to be honest, I don't think the necessary critical scrutiny had been brought to bear on those issues when it was passing through Parliament. So I do think we need to look at it and bring it more in line with what people would consider to be reasonable based on the type of conduct involved. But I would just urge you next time not to be too curious about what you see so that you're not caught undertaking when you should be going straight.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was a people's session. Thank you for your questions and your comments. We're going to invite Rochelle Reed-Nutt to do the vote of thanks because we're on our way out of here. Come ahead. Rochelle is the candidate for East Central St. James.
I am so glad that you have now settled down. Pleasant good evening to everyone, to Mr. Mark Golin and the panelists, NEKEISHA Burchell, our chairperson, ladies and gentlemen of St. James, a pleasant good evening. As we come to the close of this memorable and impactful gathering, it is my distinct honor and privilege to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the People's National Party and all those present here today. First and foremost, I extend heartfelt gratitude to Reverend Glenn Harris for opening today's proceedings with a meaningful prayer, setting a tone of unity, reflection, and purpose. To our chairperson, Ms. NEKEISHA Burchell, your leadership and eloquence have guided this program seamlessly. A warm thank you to Mr. Alan Bernard for your gracious and warm words of welcome. I feel like the persons on my right are not really listening. I'm asking you to please settle down. Persons on my right? Yes, I do that. I'm a teacher. We are also deeply appreciative of Dr. Andre Horton, whose greetings reflected innovation and entrepreneurship, key pillars of Jamaica's continued growth. To our esteemed presenters, Mr. Mark Golding, MP, President of the People's National Party, thank you for your inspiring leadership and vision. Your words continue to go. Explained especially that Jamaican workers will be put first. Senator Janice Allen, thank you for your thoughtful presentation on tourism's critical role in St. James and Jamaica's economic growth and the opportunities it brings for us all. We anticipate a balanced tourism model and thus the revitalization of tourism towns across Jamaica and the proper channeling of the Tourism Investment Fund. Enhancement Fund, my mistake. Fair sharing of the pudding, I call it. Senator Bunting, thank you for providing us with the statistics and highlighting the ills the Jamaican people have endured in this government's poor management of the safety and security of our people. We look forward to feeling safe as safety and security takes on the appropriate balanced approach we so deserve. We are immensely thankful for the People's Session, which allowed for open dialogue, questions, and recommendations. It is this spirit of collaboration and engagement that strengthens our movement and ensures that no voice is left unheard. To all the attendees, without whom this session would not have been, whether in person or virtually, thank you for your presence, participation, and unwavering support. It is through your dedication and commitment that we will continue to build a stronger and more inclusive Jamaica. Representatives of the media, respect. Your role, the role you have played today, you have executed so professionally in bringing this forum to the world. It is greatly appreciated. To the organizing team, thank you for your hard work and meticulous planning that made this event a resounding success. As we leave here today, let us carry forward the ideas and energy shared in this room and transform them into action. Thank you all, and may we continue to work together for the brighter tomorrow we all deserve. Have a blessed evening.
Thank you. And our final bit before we leave, I invite the platform to stand, or representatives to join us on stage. We're going to symbolize to you or pledge to you by reciting the national pledge, and you can count on us to live up to it. Dr. Horton. Before Jamaica right now. Thank you. Have a good evening. Walk good.
Jamaica is a beautiful Caribbean island, and beaches are part of who we are. It's not just about recreation, it's a part of our culture, it's about community, and it's about the livelihood of our people. But we have a problem. Our Jamaican people don't have access.
This is where we say so long from tonight, from here. A lively discussion from the town hall meeting there in Montego Bay. I want to say thank you all very much for coming on. And thank you all for being a part of this program. Thank you very much. May God bless you. May God bless our island home, Jamaica land we love. Have a great night, everyone. You can go on over to Regent Rattigan. He's live same way. Go on over to Come Regent Rattigan. He is live on his platform now. Thank you all very much. Have a great night, everybody. Good night.
And we are marching on to progress. Oh, we are marching on to progress. Oh, we fear not what whenever I say and what they say we are. We need to fight deliverance and say Jamaica free. We are blood and fire comrades, and we are marching on to progress. And we are marching on to progress. We are marching on to progress. Oh, we fear not what the Leverites say and what they say we are. We need to fight the Leverites and say Jamaica free. We are blood and fire comrades. And we are marching on to progress. Oh, we are marching on to progress. Oh, we fear not what whenever I say and what they say we are. We need to fight deliverance and say Jamaica free. We are blood and fire comrades, and we are marching on to progress. And we are marching on to progress. We are marching on to progress. Oh, we fear not what the Leverites say and what they say we are. We need to fight the Leverites and say Jamaica free. We are blood and fire comrades. And we are marching on to progress. Oh, we are marching on to progress. Oh, we fear not what whenever I say and what they say we are. We need to fight deliverance and say Jamaica free. We are blood and fire comrades, and we are marching on to progress. And we are marching on to progress. We are marching on to progress. Oh, we fear not what the Leverites say and what they say we are. We need to fight the Leverites and say Jamaica free. We are blood and fire comrades.
Without using degrading
And we are marching on to progress. Oh, we are marching on to progress. Oh, we fear not what whenever I say and what they say we are. We need to fight deliverance and say Jamaica free. We are blood and fire comrades, and we are marching on to progress. And we are marching on to progress. We are marching on to progress. Oh, we fear not what the Leverites say and what they say we are. We need to fight the Leverites and say Jamaica free. We are blood and fire comrades. are marching on to progress. Oh, we hear not what the labor rights say and what they say we are. Oh, we need to fight the labor rights and set Jamaica free. We are blood and fire, comrades.
Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth. Make we reason. Make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va. No upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth. Make we reason. Make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va. No upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk. If we see corruption in any shape or form, we're going to highlight it. Make we talk. Jeffrey Tavares represents yard and broad and the entire diaspora. As long as it affects the life of our nation, uncover the truth. Make we reason. Make we talk. And we don't care about no vumva viva va. No upper echelon, nobody is not above the law. As long as it now help Jamaica, make we talk. Make we talk. Unity is strength. Make we reason. Make we talk.